From Radio Iowa Sports, this is the Scouting Report, an in-depth look at this week's prep and college games. Now from our studios in Des Moines, Todd Kim.
It's the 71st meeting of the Cyhawk Series as Iowa State visits Iowa. UNI is at St. Thomas of Minnesota, and in high school football, arch rivals collide in a 5A showdown, and an 8-player, Waco visits Iowa Valley. That and more on the Scouting Report.
Okay, gonna be late. Gotta go. Where'd I put... wallet. Check. And... phone. Check. Keys. Check. Lunch. Check.
Checking for the things you need doesn't take long. But what about checking for your safety? Right now, 1 in every 5 vehicles on the road has an open safety recall. But it only takes seconds to check for open recalls on your car at checktoprotect.org. All you need is your vehicle identification number or license plate number. Your automaker may not have the right information to notify you about recalls by mail, especially if you recently moved or drive an older or used car. Checktoprotect.org is the quick, easy way to find out if your vehicle has an open safety recall and find the closest dealer who can make the repair for free.
Laptop. Check.
Before you go, take a minute. Visit checktoprotect.org. Check to Protect is a program of the National Safety Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
In terms of wins and losses, Iowa has dominated the Cyhawk Series recently, having won 7 of 8, heading into Saturday's 71st meeting in Kinnick Stadium. But on the field, it's been anything but lopsided. The Hawkeyes have made a habit of getting outgained by ISU, but have feasted on mistakes. In fact, Iowa's last 2 wins in the series have included defensive touchdowns. The Cyclones made several big plays in the season-opening win over North Dakota, but the trick against the Iowa defense is to make big plays without getting careless.
That is a fine line, and it's a great balance. I think when you look at a game like this, and being aggressive is one thing, being intelligent is the most important thing. And there's ways to be aggressive with intelligence along the way, and in all honesty, both sides of the football, you're going to have to do a great job of that. That'll be a huge impact on this game, in my opinion.
That's ISU coach Matt Campbell. Iowa State quarterback Rocco Beck says the Cyclones have been working on handling the noise inside Kinnick Stadium. The other key in this one, find a way to stay on the field and sustain drives.
If we have 3 and outs, we're not going to win this game, and so we're going to need to sustain long drives. And continue to hone in on the details and precision through each drive, and hopefully just come out with some touchdowns or field goals.
Iowa posted a shutout in a season-opening win over Illinois State, but an experienced Beck makes the ISU offense a much bigger challenge.
I think he's a very confident guy, very, very poised, and just does a good job running their offense. So they've got a really talented group of receivers. Tight end Brahmer's a really good football player, so they've got guys that they can get the ball to, and I'm sure they will. So he's done a really nice job leading their football team, and I'm guessing his best football is still ahead of him.
That's Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz, who gets ready for his 34th game in this series, and Iowa linebacker Jay Higgins hopes the Hawkeyes' big game experience is an advantage.
Luckily, we got some older guys. I'm year 5. We got a lot of year 6 guys. We've played in big games before. Big Ten championship last year, bowl game against Tennessee. Played at Ohio State. So any of those big games that the media tries to sell, we've had our fair share. So we just treat it like one of those.
Iowa leads the all-time series 47-23. Kickoff in Kinnick Stadium 2:30. It'll be televised by CBS. After rolling to a season-opening win over Valparaiso, Northern Iowa hits the road to take on St. Thomas of Minnesota. In his first start at quarterback, Aiden Dunn completed 12 of 17 passes for 116 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 35-7 win.
I thought he did a great job. He's a walk-on quarterback from Dubuque that stood in here for 2-3 years to learn the system, and he gets his first start and he operates like that. To me, that was an awesome job for him to build himself into that kind of player in the first game.
That's UNI coach Mark Farley, and Drake is on the road to take on Eastern Washington out of the Big Sky Conference. High school football's next on the Scouting Report.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
The state's best large school rivalry is renewed in week 2 of the high school season, and it's a 1-versus-2 showdown as 5A top-ranked West Des Moines Valley plays number 2 Dowling Catholic. These schools have combined to win 15 large school state titles since 2000. Dowling opened with a win over rated Cedar Rapids Kennedy, and Coach Tom Wilson says the Maroons will face a talented and experienced Tiger team.
We're going to have to play really, really well, and some things would have to fall our way to stay into things, but you know that this rivalry has been that way before, and this game is oftentimes comes to special teams as well, and the kicking game and field position, and wouldn't be surprised if that was the same this week.
Valley opened with a win over 3-time defending 5A champion Southeast Polk, and Coach Gary Swenson says they'll need another big effort against the Maroons.
If we perform like we can, I think we'll have a good chance to win, but any mistakes or, goofball stuff, it's very small margin of error against teams like this.
There are 2 other rated matchups in 5A. 5th-ranked Southeast Polk hosts number 6 Ankeny. It's 7th-ranked Cedar Falls on the road at 9th-ranked Johnston. In Class 4A tonight, 8th-ranked Decorah opened with a victory, and the Vikings are on the road at 3A number 6 West Delaware. Darren Swenson has a preview.
2 perennial Northeast Iowa powers with new head coaches will continue their rivalry Friday night in Manchester. Decorah, under new head coach Mike Tungan, was the only team in the state in Class 4A to shut out their opponent in a 33-0 victory over Waukon in Week 1. West Delaware, under new head coach Ryan King, fell to Highway 20 rival Western Dubuque in Week 1, 21-13. Vikings quarterback Louis Buxa threw for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns against Waukon. Hawks quarterback Brent Yankovic rushed for 124 yards and 2 scores against the Bobcats. The teams have split their last 6 meetings dating back to 2018. I'm Darren Swenson for the Scouting Report.
Also in 4A, top-ranked Lewis Central visits Creston. It's number 2 North Scott at Waverly Shell Rock. 3A, top-ranked Williamsburg is at home against 4A, number 3 Cedar Rapids Xavier, while second-ranked Clear Lake is on the road at New Hampton. This season, Bex is recognizing student-athletes that are not only a star in athletics, but a player that shows heart in school, at work, through the community, and in the ag industry. Madeline Ryder of Beckman Catholic in Dyersville has grown up on a family farm and enjoys working with the cow-calf herd.
I've always kind of just loved working with the cattle because they are unpredictable. It's something new every day, and it's always a different challenge, and I like that aspect of always having a different challenge on your hands to deal with.
For Southeast Valley's Cale Van Sickle, interest in farming took off after his father let him drive a tractor at a young age.
Probably about 4 or 5, we have an old International M. He'd let me drive that around the yard. I used to always sit on his lap, and he always let me steer.
Cord Hamilton from Central Decatur has worked with livestock since he was young, and it sparked an interest in showing animals.
So my sisters, they used to always show livestock before me, and I always helped them when they were getting their livestock ready for the show day. And I've always been really intrigued with that since I started helping them, and it just went from there.
And Rachel Ehlers of Davenport West has been active on her family farm and even owns her own show goat business.
When I started 4-H, I was about 9 years old, and I knew I wanted to show a goat. So I ended up going over to my neighbor's house, and I showed a couple of his goats, and I just fell in love with it. And then a couple years later, I had the opportunity to buy 28 bred does. So every year we've been growing, and now we have about 80 total.
Bex, players with heart. The rest of Week 2 is next on the Scouting Report.
At Bex, we stand up for the things that matter most: our faith, our independence, and helping farmers succeed. As the largest family-owned seed company in the U.S., we believe in the integrity of remaining an independent family-owned seed company. Since our founding in 1937, we have continued to produce quality products backed by a quality family of employees and dealers dedicated to serving American farmers. And that's something to be proud of. Bex, Founded in faith, forged in America. For more information, visit BexHybrids.com.
Hey Iowa, it's George Kittle, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers and proud former Hawkeye. Life can throw unexpected hits, much like catching a pass over the middle. If you're facing struggles with drug or alcohol use, or even mental health challenges, take a time out and call Your Life Iowa. Just like my teammates are there for me, the Your Life Iowa team is there for you. Get 24/7 free resources or find treatment options at yourlifeiowa.org.
A message from Iowa HHS.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
Rateds collide in 8-player District 6 when number 6 Waco visits 8th-ranked Iowa Valley. With a young offensive line, Waco has used the arm of quarterback Clayton Miller in a 2-0 start. He has 496 yards of passing and 10 touchdowns as teams have loaded up against the run. Iowa Valley counters with sophomore signal caller Nolan Kriegel. He's rushed for 406 yards and 10 touchdowns in a 2-0 start. Iowa Valley coach Casey Kroll says the running of Kriegel is a product of the entire offense.
But we got to give a lot of credit for our success to our offensive line and then our receivers blocking and our running backs blocking as well. But Nolan's a dynamic runner and does a really nice job of, being patient, finding the hole, and then he can, beat you with his arm too if we need to. So we just kind of, try to balance out the run and the pass.
Waco coach Chad Edeker says games like these often come down to mistakes and turnovers.
Part of the reason we've won our first 2 games is because we're a positive turnover margin on both games. We've forced a few and haven't had a lot. The biggest mistakes we make right now is we're still a little penalty prone. We're still doing some things, getting linemen downfield. We're holding a little. We're doing some things that are just too obvious, and we need to make sure we clean that up and not make those mistakes.
There's one other rated matchup in 8-player. It finds number 7 Audubon at home against 10th-ranked Colonesco. Class A, IKM Manning entered the Radio Iowa rankings this week, heading into tonight's game at home against Panorama. Noah Caruso has a preview.
IKM Manning entered at number 10 in the latest polls after a 49-34 victory over Esac County in Week 1. IKM Manning had an effective night running the football as they ran for 295 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. But for head coach Corey McCarville, he believes this offense can reach a new high by executing the passing game.
We feel like there's a number of play-action passes that could be effective for us. And, those are some of the things that we'd like to, kind of establish a little bit more.
The Wolves gave up over 350 yards of total offense against Esac County, as Coach McCarville wants to see a quick improvement from his defensive side.
We had, by the tape that we watched, we had a very high number of missed tackles. We overran a lot of plays. There's just a lot of fundamental things on the defensive side that we just did not do a very good job of, giving up that many yards and that many points.
As for the Panorama Panthers, they entered this contest 0-1 after a tightly contested 28-21 loss to West Central Valley. Panorama was able to run the ball well in their own right with 240 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. From Manning for KDSN Sports and the Radio Iowa Scouting Report, I'm Noah Caruso.
Also in Class A, it's top-ranked Woodbury Central visiting Westwood. Number 2 ACGC is at home against Earlham. In 1A, rivals meet as number 9 AHSTW hosts Riverside. Chris Varney reports.
Riverside is led by junior tailback Jackson Gordon, who put up 185 yards last week in a blowout win over West Monona. AHSTW head coach Gigi Harris.
He's a lot stronger. You can tell he's put a lot of time in the offseason. One, we got to stop him in the box. And, if they want to run inside, we got to make it bounce and make it go outside. Obviously, if they want to go outside, we want to flush it back in. And so that's going to be primary number 1 is we got to control him.
The Vikings last week gave up a 78-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, but then answered as Luke Stenberg returned the very next kick 95 yards for a score to key a 26-21 comeback win over Tri-Center. Now it's the 59 rivalry. Bulldogs head coach Daryl Frame.
Yeah, it is. When it's a rivalry, and like you said, when we're close, our communities are kind of close to each other, so it adds a little bit to it. So I'm sure they're going to come out on fire because Gigi always has them ready when they play us. So
both teams 1-0 as Riverside visits AHSTW. For the Scouting Report, I'm Chris Varney.
Also in Class 1A, it's top-rated OABCIG at home against Esac County, while number 2 Grundy Center visits Ampling and Parkersburg. And in Class 2A, top-ranked Van Meter is at number 9 Des Moines Christian, while second-ranked Spirit Lake visits Sioux Center. That's all for the Scouting Report. For Radio Iowa Sports, I'm Todd Kim.
It's Football Friday night, which means it's the Raw Customs and the Homestead Country Store Friday night tailgate show. Sports Director Tyler Lance will talk to the coaches from West Bend-Mallard and North Union about tonight's matchups. Here's Tyler with all the details from inside the locker room.
Week 2 of the high school football season here on Hometown Radio KLGA, Home Country Radio KLGZ, and at the El Gordo Radio YouTube stream. It's time for your Friday night tailgate show. As always at this time, we talk with the head coaches of North Union and West Bend-Mallard and see what's going on around those programs. For North Union, it was a rough start to the season, losing 41-7 in their opener at Okoboji, and doesn't get a whole lot easier tonight. They head to Radio Iowa, number 5 ranked St. Ansgar to open up district play, and we'll talk with Coach Ernster and get his thoughts on that matchup. Meanwhile, West Bend-Mallard looks to start 2-0. They have a big rivalry game this week against Bishop Garrigan as the Wolverines come off an 86-56 shootout win over Newell Fonda. We'll talk with head coach Tyson Wirtz, get his thoughts on that game, and preview the Golden Bears. That's all coming up on this week's edition of the Friday Night Tailgate Show.
Homestead Country Store invites you to stop by their location at 203 South Broadway Avenue in West Bend. Serving lunch from 11 to 2, menus can be seen on their Facebook page. Let's not forget the ice cream. Do you need syrup for your pancakes or waffles? Check out their New York syrup. Homestead Country Store has a wide variety of supplies from King Arthur brand all-purpose and wheat flours to spices and herbs for your baking and canning needs. From our homestead to yours, you'll find what you need at the Homestead Country Store in downtown West Bend.
The tailgate show continues right now on Hometown and Home Country Radios. Right now, we talk North Union football with head coach Matt Ernster. Coach, as always, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you joining us today on the tailgate show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, Coach, obviously a tough start for the team last week against Okoboji in that 41-7 loss in the season opener. Talk to me about some of the takeaways coming out of last week and what you guys are focused kind of improving this week as you head into Friday night's game against St. Ansgar.
Yeah, just a tough one. I think it'd be, definitely easy to say that wasn't kind of what we expected or what we'd hoped for. You tip your cap to Boji, and they played an excellent game and did a lot of really good things. And we just kind of came out a little flat. We got punched in the mouth early, and we just didn't respond really well to it and just didn't play a clean game overall. Gave them some short fields, too many turnovers, just overall, just kind of a down game. So the focus has just been kind of getting back to basics this week of we got to execute things a lot better. We've got to fundamentally play a lot better than we did and kind of pick up our speed as far as like the way that we're playing. We just got to kind of pick up the pace a little bit.
Well, Coach, you get district play underway this week with another road trip as you guys head to St. Ansgar. Always a tough matchup against the Saints. Looking at this year's St. Ansgar team, what are a couple of things that jump out to you immediately?
I think just, from playing them these past few years, they're just it's going to be a physical matchup. You just know that that's kind of their mentality and who they are. And up front they're going to be big and they're going to move well and they're going to take pride in establishing that running game. Their backs are going to block hard. They're going to run extremely hard. And defensively, they're going to be solid. They're going to make you earn everything that you get. So we've just talked about, we've really got to raise our level of play to compete in this one, and we've really got to play our best football if we want our shot.
Well, Coach, you referenced a very good St. Ansgar offensive line, and it seems like on a yearly basis they always have a couple of really good options in the running game as well. So on the defensive side for you guys, what's the key for you slowing down that St. Ansgar run game?
Well, I think it's just some of the things we didn't do really well last year, just kind of trusting reads, getting downhill and attacking things. I think a lot of times last week we were maybe a little bit on our heels and a little bit reactive, and we got to be a little bit more aggressive in what we're doing. And when we get to the ball, we got to make sure that we're tackling well. So I think just kind of playing with a little bit more aggression and speed and trusting what we're doing.
We're talking right now with North Union head coach Matt Ernster here on the Friday Night Tailgate Show. Coach, one of the positives from last week was Draven Keeler, as he was able to run for 100 yards on just 17 carries, and obviously a big role expected for him this week as well. So talk to me a bit about what you saw from Draven last week and what you feel you need from him this Friday night against the Saints.
He just did a good job of finishing runs and, getting downhill pretty quick on stuff, getting to the holes pretty fast, making good cuts. Just kind of the same things, avoiding hesitation. Probably got to be a little bit better in the other nuances of the position as far as the fakes and the pass blocking things we kind of struggle with. But as a runner, just kind of keep progressing and keep running hard for us.
Coach, as we wrap up for today, what do you see as the number one key for a North Union win in this game?
Like I said, we're going to have to play about as well as we possibly can, but we really got to limit turnovers. A lot of those were killer for us last week. Gave them some short fields and just not helpful at all. And we got to find ways, I think, to get points on the board early, give us some confidence in what we're doing, and just kind of go over there and play loose and free, and just kind of realize we got an opportunity to play a really good team, one of the top ones in the state, and just kind of rise to that level and go out and play a good football game.
All right, Coach. We appreciate your time today and wish you best of luck against St. Ansgar.
Yeah, thank you.
That's North Union head coach Matt Ernster here on your Friday Night Tailgate Show on Hometown Radio KLGA and Home Country Radio KLGZ. Right now, we'll step aside for a quick timeout, but we've got more Tailgate Show coming up next with West Bend-Mallard football head coach Tyson Wirtz as he talks about last week's matchup against Newell Fonda and previews tonight's game against Bishop Garrigan. It's right around the corner on your Friday Night Tailgate Show.
Raw Customs in West Bend is committed to becoming your go-to shop for any of your vehicle's customization needs. That means offering accessories and services whether you're touring the city or tearing up the trail. You need to be confident that your accessories can keep up. They offer durable, top-of-the-line quality products at affordable prices. Follow them on Facebook or call Raw Customs in West Bend today at 515-887-2800.
And your Friday Night Tailgate Show continues right now on Hometown and Home Country Radio. As right now we're joined by West Bend-Mallard Wolverine head coach Tyson Wirtz. Coach, as always, we appreciate you giving us some weekly time here to talk some Wolverine football. Thank you so much for joining today.
You bet. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And Coach, like we talked about on Saturday, it was a big shootout, 86-56 win over Newell Fonda, opening up the season last Friday night. And as we kind of mentioned on Saturday, it wasn't the most pretty game, but ultimately you get the win over the Mustangs for the second straight season. What was one big thing you thought the guys did well on Friday night, and what was one big thing you guys worked on cleaning up from Friday night?
I think we moved the ball pretty well. I mean, we had 86 points, and offensively we were playing pretty well. I thought we played physical, got off the ball pretty well. We played a pretty good rally game in the sense of, we had mistakes that took place and we didn't dwell on them. The guys overcame the mistakes well and didn't give up, didn't hang their heads. And I was really proud of kind of their mental fortitude to just stick with it throughout the night. On the defensive side, 56 points is quite a bit. So that was a big focus this week at practice, was shoring up our coverage, shoring up our tackling, shoring up our physicality on that side of the ball as well. But guys worked hard this week, and we're excited to see how much they've developed.
Coach, like you said, obviously a big week at practice to kind of correct some of those issues from week one, or some of the specifics that you guys worked on or did in practice to make sure that the defense comes out a little bit stronger here in week two.
A lot of the basics still. I mean, we didn't change up too much. We did a lot of tackling drills. We did a lot of work with our linebackers and D-backs on, taking the right steps, opening the correct way, fighting through coverage, whether it's man or zone. We did 5-on-5 work, really just spending time on the fundamentals. There wasn't anything too wild and crazy. Scheme's not super complicated. It's just kind of line up and do your job.
And, Coach, when there's a big offensive game like that with an 86-56 final score, sometimes the defensive players who do have a really good game can get lost in the box score. So I do want to spotlight Layden Grimm's performance in that game. He had 11 tackles for you guys, 3 sacks, recovered a fumble as well. Having a Grimm make a lot of tackles is obviously nothing new for your team, but can you just speak on Layden's ability to really just find the ball on a given play and the kind of weapon that he gives you guys defensively as a linebacker?
He's really just he's got a mind for the game. He's always learning. He's always paying attention. He's got a great kind of learning mentality of, I want to do everything to get better. He's one of those kids that asks questions and asks for whether he did something right. And he's just good vision for it. I mean, he reads his keys well. He fills up. He's still working on that physicality, but it came a long ways. He had a couple big hits on Friday, and if he continues that, he absolutely is going to be a big piece for us on the defensive side.
Talking right now with West Bend-Mallard Wolverine head coach Tyson Wirtz. And, Coach, district play gets underway this week with a quick road trip over to Algona to face Bishop Garrigan. Last year, the team felt like they let one get away against the Golden Bears. So, with that being said, is that something you guys have used this week as motivation leading into the game?
Oh, we haven't dwelled too much on last year. I think the motivation is just more so, this is the beginning of district play, and if you want to fight for a district title, it has to start here. Bishop Garrigan's a very good team. Bring back a lot of talented players. They've got a great coach at the helm. And so I don't think our guys need a whole lot of motivation. And we don't want to get stuck on the past of what we had last year, especially with our team made up the way it is. We've got a lot of new guys playing in new positions this year. So they certainly remember being up at halftime and letting the game get away from us. But a lot of them would have been on the sidelines and not as many of them playing.
Coach, in a game like this, running the ball and good play up front really tends to define the ball game. Starting on your offense, what's the key to getting the running game clicking against a very good Golden Bear defense?
Yeah, they're going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be tough for us to get going. We're going to have to realize that it's not going to be like last week where we're busting off 50, 60-yard runs. We're going to have to really win it 3-4 yards at a time. And we've really focused this week on, again, the fundamentals of taking the right steps, getting off the ball. Communicating, I think, is something that we've worked a lot on this week, is making sure they know when they're going to combo, they're going to down, they're going to drive block, whatever it is. So really working on really basic stuff. We didn't add a whole lot new to the playbook because we knew we just wanted to get good at what we've been doing already.
And, Coach, obviously that running game is really kind of a two-way street this week because Bishop Garrigan's a team that's going to want to establish the run game as well. So what kind of challenges do you feel the Garrigan run game presents to you, and what's the key to slowing them down?
Well, it'll be tough to slow them down for sure. I mean, they bring back both guards from last year. They bring back a quarterback and a fullback that are both very good. So they're going to have a lot of pieces back from a championship team. So it's kind of the same thing. It's, don't let up the big plays. Make them earn it, 2-3 yards at a time, the same way that we feel we're going to have to earn it. Don't get down on one play. They're going to be a physical team. They're always very well coached up front. They're well coached in the backfield. They don't make very many mistakes, so we really have to just focus on not making mistakes on our side either.
And, Coach, obviously it's no secret that Bishop Garrigan has a very large roster that provides them with a lot of depth across the board, and obviously there's nothing you can do to change the size of the roster or change the fact that Garrigan's going to bring close to 50 players to their sideline, but how do you and the guys kind of overcome the challenge of dealing with Garrigan's the depth that they have?
Yeah, it definitely helps, but, I mean, at the same time, they're going to have 8 guys on the field. We're going to have 8 guys on the field, and the biggest difference is they might be able to sub a little more than we can, but there's still 8 guys on it. It's not like, they've got the entire team on the field at once. So, again, it's just don't let that intimidate you. Show up, play our game, do what we do best, and just be competitive. We know we're going to have some challenges this week for sure, but we want to play our game. And win or lose, I think if we come out at the end of the week feeling like we did everything we could, I think we're going to feel okay.
Coach, as we wind down the interview, what do you feel some of the biggest keys to the game are? Some of the things your guys need to do if they want to start off 2-0?
Play with confidence. We want them to come out and just play in a way they're like, all right, we can compete. This is just eight high school kids against our 8 high school kids, and so don't let the game get bigger than yourself. Don't dwell too much on what it was last year or the year before, any of that. Just another football game, and obviously it's a very important one as we start district play, but just have fun, make it a football game, get better every single snap.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time once again today on the Tailgate Show, and best of luck this week.
Thanks, Tyler. We appreciate it.
That is West Bend-Mallard Wolverine head coach Tyson Wirtz here on your Friday night Tailgate Show, talking about last week's win against New Fonda and previewing tonight's game against Bishop Garrigan. That'll wrap it up for this week's edition of the Friday night Tailgate Show. The Edward Jones pregame is coming up next on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
It's time to hit the field. That's it for Raw Customs and the Homestead Country Store Friday Night Tailgate Show.
Get ready for football with the Garrigan Golden Bear pregame show, brought to you by your Edward Jones representative, Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen. We got interviews with the coaches, the starting lineups, the Kimna Auto Center keys to the game, the Grassmasters field condition report, Algona Plumbing and Heating's game time temperature, Eyes on Thorington coin toss, and more as we preview tonight's matchup. The pregame is also brought to you by Kossuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare, JDRCs of Wesley, and Banwert Trucking of Audison. Now here's Tyler Lance on the Golden Bear Edward Jones pregame show.
A happy football Friday night to everybody around the Hometown Radio and Home Country Radio listening area. Tyler Lance for you tonight on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. As tonight, we do week 2 of the high school football season, rivalry style. The Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears hosting West Bend-Mallard Wolverines in a battle of 2 playoff teams from last year. The defending state champion Golden Bears turned their season around for week 2 win over the Wolverines last season. But West Bend-Mallard, they're no slouches themselves. They went 7-3 last year, won a first-round playoff game, and nearly had a playoff rematch against Bishop Garrigan Garrigan. The Golden Bear fans will remember playing Cam in the third round of the playoffs. Now Cam defeated West Bend-Mallard 36-34 to get to that round, had a late go-ahead touchdown, just seconds remaining on the clock. So this is a Wolverine team that made a deep playoff run as well last year, and these two teams very talented once again to start the season, both off to 1-0 starts. The Wolverines defeating Newell Fonda in a crazy shootout in week 1, 86-56 the final score in that game. You just heard from head coach Tyson Wirtz and his thoughts on week 1 for the Wolverines. Obviously, great offensive performance for the Wolverines. Can't do a whole lot better than 86 points, but obviously a lot of things to clean up defensively to go up against a Golden Bear team that is very deep and very talented offensively. Bishop Garrigan finally got the St. Edmund monkey off their back last week, winning 48-22 in the season opener right here at Conway Field over the St. Edmund Gales. Now, district play gets underway tonight. Both those matchups in the first week were non-district games, West Bend-Mallard and Bishop Garrigan, and tonight it counts for the district standings. So a big early tone-setting game here on Home Country Radio KLGZ. Again, this is the Edward Jones pregame show, brought to you by our Edward Jones representatives here in Algona, Bruce Keefe, Mackenzie Jorgensen, Jerry Sukup, and Brady Ross. Our video streaming on the Algona Radio YouTube channel, brought to you by Iowa State Bank, where they help people succeed. PMC Advantage Insurance Services, having the advantage makes all the difference. Algona Municipal Utilities, community-owned for community benefit. Chemda Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. And Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident. The Golden Bears and the Wolverines had a long-time high school football rivalry back in 11-player football. Now, that has continued here at the 8-man level for the Golden Bears, dropping down in 2021. You look at the past 3 years, in 2021, it was a wild back-and-forth game. Garrigan got the better of West Bend-Mallard by a final score of 34-29. In 2022, as the Wolverines getting revenge, last time these two teams matched up at Conway Field, West Bend-Mallard had a huge second half as they scored 24 unanswered points to defeat Bishop Garrigan 30-12. And then last year, it was that classic 36-31 game. At one point in that ball game, Bishop Garrigan was behind 23-6, but they had a huge second half in that one. Really changed the entire season after that opening loss to St. Edmund last year. They were down at half, staring 0-2 in the face when they went up against the Wolverines, but that second half rally really changed the entire trajectory of the season for the Golden Bears, and they never looked back on the way to a state title. So this rivalry matchup always has a lot of unexpected twists, turns, and treats for us viewers and listeners to see on the high school football gridiron, and I'm certain this chapter will be great as well as the Wolverines and Golden Bears do battle tonight here in Algona. Coming up on the pregame show, we've got the starting lineups, interview of head coach of Bishop Garrigan, Marty Wadley, the Chemda Auto Center keys to the game, and the Grassmasters field condition report. That's all on the way prior to 7 o'clock. That's when kickoff is right here in Algona. In the meantime, we'll take a quick timeout, get to Coach Wadley's pregame interview. It's next on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Don't let concerns about current events derail your long-term financial strategy. I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Brady Ross. We can work together to understand today's financial landscape and make sure you achieve your goals. While you can't control market volatility, you can control your financial future. Let's connect. Contact me, Brady Ross, at 515-295-7763. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sukup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Bend-Mallard Trucking of Odison specializes in livestock hauling and flatbed freight hauling. Let them transport your livestock. If it's local hauling or long distance, they will get it there. Contact them at 515-379-2109. Located in Odison, Bend-Mallard Trucking, livestock and flatbed freight hauling when and where you need it.
Is your student athlete on the injured list? We can help. This is Wendy Wagner, physical therapy assistant at Kasuth Regional Health Center. As a former student athlete and coach, I want to help you get back in the game feeling healthy and injury-free. Our staff works closely with local healthcare providers and specialists throughout the area for a recovery plan that works for you. Best of luck to all our area athletes this season. We will be cheering for you.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
The Edward Jones pregame show continues here on Home Country Radio KLGZ as we get set for high school football action between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. And right now we're joined by Bishop Garrigan head coach Marty Wadley. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Tyler.
Well, Coach, let's start off with last week, as obviously the team started off the season on the right foot with a 48-22 win over St. Edmund. Obviously, last year the team proved you can lose game number 1 and still have a great year, but I would imagine there's a little bit of a difference mentally heading into week 2 when you guys are off to a 1-0 start. So just where's the team at confidence-wise after that win over what appears to be a pretty good St. Edmund team in week 1?
It's pretty good, I think. We still have, obviously, a lot of things to work on yet that from last week that we found where, we need to work on some things and that. But, yeah, it's always good to get off with a win and start things off. And, we did some things really, really well, and we did some things not so well. And I'm sure that's what everybody sees week one. And, if we can just improve, between week 1 and week 2, that's a big improvement needed in all areas. So hopefully we're going to be able to do that this week.
And, Coach, I want to look briefly at what the guys did defensively last week. St. Ed's is a team that has some skill position guys that can hurt you, but you really kept their offense mostly in check. They averaged less than 4 yards per rush. They went 5 of 21 passing. So what did you feel were some of the big defensive factors for you guys last week?
Well, I thought, we did a good job up front for sure. And, we weren't out of position a lot. And, they had a couple opportunities where they probably had some people that were maybe open a little bit and they weren't able to complete it. And sometimes that happens too, especially with a new quarterback and that. But I thought overall, we took the ball away 3 total times compared to not giving it up any. And that's really big in football, and it's really big in high school football. If you can win that turnover battle, that's a big thing for us. And we didn't really give up any big plays with the exception of the opening kickoff return, which we're going to do a lot of work on that this week and improve that area. But, we're happy with where we're at, and, we have a lot of improvement to do as West Bend's a really good football team.
Well, Coach, district play gets underway this week. Like you said, West Bend-Mallard coming to town, and whenever you play the Wolverines, it always seems to turn into an in-the-trenches type of battle. Do you feel there's any carryover for preparing for and going up against a guy like St. Edmund's Adam Walker when you prepare to face the Wolverines?
Probably a little bit, with the same aspect. They pull guards and they pull tight ends just like just like St. Ed's did. They run a wing T concept, and that's kind of somewhat of a concept that West Bend runs. And they want to get the ball to the fair kid. He runs the ball really well. They rushed for 500 and some yards last week. So, that's very impressive. I don't care who you're playing or who you're going against. That's a lot of yards given up. So. We're going to definitely have to shore up our run defense and be able to slow them down for sure.
Joined right now on the pregame show by Bishop Garrigan head coach Marty Wadley. Coach, like you said, West Bend-Mallard, a team that was able to rush for over 500 yards last week in their win against Newell Fonda. What's the key to containing their ground game as you look to really get that run defense going here in week 2?
Their run fits have to be good. We have to be in the right gaps, and we have to close down gaps and fit in the correct way and not either over pursue or under pursue and get where we need to be. And they do a good job up front. They don't do anything real fancy. They down block and they pull or they just base block and double team. So they do it well. Their backs hit the hole hard. They run well. They don't need big holes. Their quarterback's very elusive. He's not a very big kid, but he's elusive, and I think he ran for 200 and some yards last week too. So, those are things we have to concentrate and get good play out of our ends and make sure we're keeping our contain that we need to keep when we're doing it, and not get anything on the edge and make sure we're filling gaps internally.
Well, Coach, this is always a matchup that's played up a lot of intensity, not to mention it has the implication of being the first district game on the schedule. What does the right balance of playing for motion and playing under control look like in this matchup against the Wolverines?
Well, you've got to play and you've got to just do your job, and that's what we tell our kids. It will be. It's exciting. It's a home game. Good rivalry. We've gone back and forth with them the last couple of years, and since we've moved to the 8-player level, and it's good. They're well coached. Their kids know what they need to do. Nothing would make their season any more than beating us. I guarantee you that. So we want to do everything in our power to keep that from happening.
Coach, as we wrap up, what do you see as the biggest key to a Bishop Garrigan victory in this game?
We're going to need to play well up front, offensively and defensively. They're going to try and take away our run. I'm sure of that. I'd be surprised if they don't. We're going to try and take away their run too. So how we play up front and how we play with our linebackers defensively is going to be big, and then how we play up front on our offensive line. Games are won up front. Your backs are great and they run the ball, but you have to have some type of a seam for them to get to. So we need to play really well up front on both sides of the ball.
Coach, we appreciate your time today on the pregame show and wish you best of luck in tonight's matchup.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. Appreciate it.
That is Bishop Garrigan head coach Marty Wadley as the Golden Bears get ready to open up a district play tonight with a matchup against the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. Right now, we will step aside for a quick timeout. More of your Edward Jones pregame show coming up next on Home Country Radio KLGZ, 98.5 FM, AM 1600, and the Elgato Radio YouTube stream.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than preparing for retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Bruce Keefe. Together, we can give you your long-term retirement strategy the attention it deserves. Stop by our office at 100 North Phillips Street. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sukup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
The Whipple's hybrids from JDR Seed help you find the cure for the common corn yield by matching you with the hybrids that can increase your whole farm yield. Now is the time to buy to get serious savings on serious seed for next spring. See the results for yourself. Contact Rich Rosemeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit Whiffles.com. Whiffles hybrids and JDR Seed, together we bring the yield.
When it comes to your recovery, we tackle issues head-on. Whether you're on the field, setting up a spike, or running the course, Kossuth Regional Health Center's rehab team is here to help when an injury occurs. I'm Bryce Buckle, physical therapist, and as a former student athlete, I know how important it is to get back in the game. At KRHC, our team works with local healthcare providers and specialists throughout the area for a recovery plan that works for you. Best of luck to all of our area athletes this season. We'll be cheering for you.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Let's work together on an investment strategy for long-term results. While you can't control market volatility, you can control your financial future. Start by giving me a call at 515-295-7766. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, together we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Band-Mallard Trucking of Odison specializes in livestock hauling and flatbed freight hauling. Let them transport your livestock. If it's local hauling or long distance, they will get it there. Contact them at 515-379-2109. Located in Odison, Band-Mallard Trucking, livestock and flatbed freight hauling when and where you need it.
The Whipple's hybrids from JDR Seed help you find the cure for the common corn yield by matching you with the hybrids that can increase your whole farm yield. Now is the time to buy to get serious savings on serious seed for next spring. See the results for yourself. Contact Rich Rosemeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit Whiffles.com. Whiffles hybrids and JDR Seed, together we bring the yield.
Edward Jones pregame show continues right now on Hometown Radio. Make that Home Country Radio KLGZ as we get set for football matchups between the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines and the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. Right now it's time to take a look at the starting lineups for tonight. We'll start off with the West Bend-Mallard offense and Bishop Garrigan defense. Up front for the Wolverines at the guard positions, they have the 6-foot, 270-pound junior Jason Akridge wearing number 54, and at the 6'4", 200-pound sophomore Abner Zhao wearing number 72. The center on the offensive line, the 5'9", 205-pound senior Clint Fair wearing jersey number 65. Starting tight ends for the Wolverines. On one side, it'll be number 22, Tyler Fogarty, a senior, checking in at 6'2", 190 pounds. And on the other side, you'll have Micah Fair, another West Bend-Mallard senior, checking in at 6 feet, 170 pounds. Underneath center, the new starting quarterback this year, Austin Schmidt, wears jersey number 2. He's a senior for the Wolverines. He'll hand the ball off to his running back, Cole Fair, a senior who ran for 279 yards and 6 touchdowns last week. Fair wears jersey number 33. And the fullback position will be shared between a couple of seniors, Eli Hansen and Layden Grimm. Layden Grimm, a junior, but Hansen a senior, Grimm a junior. They'll both take reps at the fullback position tonight. On the Bishop Garrigan defense at the end position, you'll have Keaton Helseth, a senior wearing number 50, and Carter Schwab, a junior wearing number 53. At the nose tackle position, it'll be Wyatt Rosenmeyer, a senior wearing jersey number 3. Linebackers for the Golden Bears, Andrew Lichter, senior number 15, Ethan Marceau, junior number 11, and Matt Miller, sophomore number 46. And in the secondary, you'll have Michael Joyce, sophomore number 9, and Owen Murphy, a junior number 10. Flipping it over to the Bishop Garrigan offense, offense and the West Bend-Mallard defense. Up front for the Golden Bears, it'll be Carter Schwab, junior number 53, and Keaton Hellseth, senior number 50 at the guard positions. Caden Graves, the junior at number 60 at the center. Tight end tonight, Wyatt Rosenmeyer, senior wearing jersey number 3. Out wide for the Golden Bears, Michael Joyce, who caught a 54-yard touchdown pass last week. He is a sophomore wearing jersey number 9. The starting quarterback for Bishop Garrigan, Tate Furch, junior number 7, as Furch had a good game last week against St. Edmund, 8 of 14 through the air for 130 yards and a touchdown, as Furch is the quarterback tonight for the Golden Bears. His running backs, fullback Ethan Marceau, a junior wearing jersey number 11, and Trayton Sink, a senior wearing jersey number 26. Defensively for West Bend-Mallard, on the line they'll have the sophomore Abner Zaug, number 72, and the senior Clint Fair, number 65. Linebackers are the junior Layden Grimm, number 31, the senior Cole Fair, number 33, and the senior Tyler Fogarty, number 22. And in the secondary, it's senior Austin Schmidt, number 2, number 8, senior Eli Hansen, and the senior number 5, Micah Fair. That's a look at the starting lineups for both teams heading into tonight's game. Right now, we'll take a quick timeout, get your Chemna Auto Center keys to the game. It's coming up next on Home Country Radio KLGZ and on the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Market declines, unemployment, today's headlines can be scary. Hi, I'm Edward Jones, financial advisor, Mackenzie Jorgensen. I'll work with you to help you understand the impact of short-term events and how to prepare for the long term. We provide the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Don't let headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. Contact me, Mackenzie Jorgensen, at 515-395-4021, along with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Brady Ross. We are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Chemna Auto Center, they understand that you have no shortage of options when it comes to purchasing or servicing your car. They're your hometown dealer for new GM, Ford, and Chrysler makes and models. Plus, they also offer an extensive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Serving you with a dedicated sales and finance team, along with world-class service technicians that are passionate about keeping your ride in top shape. Visit their showrooms today for an experience you deserve. Chemna Auto Center in Algona.
It's time for the Chemna Keys to the Game, brought to you by Chemna Auto Center in Algona. Chemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie for tonight's matchup between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. Beanie, obviously both teams coming off big wins in week number 1. Golden Bears finally defeating St. Edmund 48-22 in that ball game. But for the Golden Bears to start 2-0, what do they have to do tonight?
Wow, this is such a different feel compared to last year when they're coming into this game after St. Ed's loss. Now coming after a win against St. Ed's. Boy, I think the Bears really need to keep that momentum going. They're still mixing and matching some certain lineup things, and I hope they ironed out some wrinkles this week, because they will need to have those wrinkles ironed out against this very good West Bend team. Last year, this was a really good matchup, and I do think it's all about momentum. That is the key. Which team is going to get momentum early on in this game, because these young kids can really ride that momentum, especially in this 8-player game.
I'm going to throw out a Chemna key to the game for you for the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. Endurance is going to be a big key tonight. Most of the Wolverines starters go both ways. If you look at the two rosters tonight, Bishop Garrigan comes in for a roster of about 50 players. West Bend-Mallard, their roster 23 players. Now, the Wolverines are no stranger to playing very competitive games against the Golden Bears and sometimes winning, as these teams have gone back and forth for the past couple of years. But you just worry a little bit if you're the Wolverines about wearing down in the second half. Obviously, last year, Golden Bears, they went down big into the locker room at halftime. They rallied to win it in the second half, and the Golden Bears just had a way of wearing down teams in the second half last year. So if you're the Wolverines, I hope your off-season conditioning program was very good and got you ready for tonight, because the Golden Bears, they're going to be subbing a little more than the Wolverines are, and that power run game can be punishing in the second half.
I totally agree, Tyler. And those West Bend kids are tough. You know, they got to find 8 guys, but those 8 guys have to be able to go the distance. You've seen basketball teams win it all with just 5 to 7 guys. You've seen baseball teams win it with just 9. But in football, to have just 8 guys do everything for the next 3 hours, that is a lot to ask. So depth and in conditioning, totally a key for West Bend-Mallard.
And of course, Beanie, this wouldn't be a Bishop Garrigan versus West Bend-Mallard game if we didn't talk about the guys in the trenches. Both these coaches and both of these teams absolutely pride themselves on the play of the offensive and defensive lines. Like we said, the subbing is going to be key in that one as far as rotation and keeping guys fresh are going to be, especially on the Garrigan side, as they'll be able to rotate a few guys along the defensive line. But I'm always entertained watching the West Bend-Mallard Wolverine defensive line play. Sometimes they'll just rush 2 guys, and right now the 2 guys for West Bend-Mallard starting on their defensive line, a senior Clint Fair and a sophomore Abner Zaug. So those two guys are going to have a big role, not only stopping the run game, but containing Tate Furch, keeping him in pocket, because in the 8-player game, as we know, you've got to have a mobile quarterback, so that puts a lot of responsibility on the defensive lineman, really containing that quarterback run game.
Oh, for sure. It's also really fun to watch these lines to see how they make adjustments. If you really watch the line throughout these matchups, and such as this, between two running teams, to see how the players approach, to see how low they get, to see where they line up in the gaps, and coach strategies and trying to take advantage of weaknesses. That line play is interesting if you focus in on that line and watch it from the beginning to the end of the game.
Those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Chemna Auto Center in Algona. Chemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. Well, the Edward Jones pregame show continues on. Again, our pregame show brought to you by Edward Jones representatives Bruce Keith, Mackenzie Jorgensen, Jerry Sukup, and Brady Ross. Kickoff tonight at 7 o'clock between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. A district opener against two teams that started off 1-0 with non-district wins. We'll have your Grassmasters field condition report. It's after this on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
At Grassmasters, we believe the secret to a successful season is hard work and dedication, the same qualities that make up a winning team. Preparation, perseverance, and teamwork have enabled us to rise above the competition and bring you a championship team. So as this year kicks off, we at Grassmasters would like to wish all of the local athletes the very best and a successful season on and off the field. Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do?
Time for tonight's field condition report, brought to you by Grassmasters, the area's premier lawn care and tree care company. Well, Beanie, the field looking great here tonight. We haven't had a whole lot of rain in our listening area as of late, so that means the field's in good condition. Only one game on it so far, so Grassmasters would definitely be happy with the condition of the field tonight.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Bishop Garrigan has 4 regular season home games this year is all, and 2 of them right off the bat, so they get to take advantage of this wonderful summer-fed, summer-watered grass out there at Conway Field. The surface looks great. The field here, of course, still has the goalpost set up at the 100-yard distances, so this being an 80-yard 8-man game, one of the end zones will have to move, and as a player, you got to keep track where the end zones are, but the grass itself looks fantastic. A few divots out there from last week, but that makes it feel weathered and work. You know, whether you want to play on grass or turf, you still have to get footing, and this looks like very good footing surface out there.
It is, and Bishop Garrigan does get to start the season of 2 home games before they head on the road for a couple of games in the next 2 weeks. So you start off and give that field a little test early on, make sure the field's ready to go to start off the season. But field's looking great. They put a lot of work into it. And Beanie, as they pointed out last week, fresh paint job as well. If you look at the goalposts on both sides of the end zones, the flagpole behind the end zone down on the left side of the field, those all have a fresh new coat of yellow paint, and that's going to be looking great throughout the season.
Yes, the Plath painting elves showed up again one night. I don't know when they sneak into the school campus and do this, but the field wasn't painted one day, and when I came in the parking lot the next morning to work, you could see the beautiful lines painted out there. It's always fun to pull in that parking lot and see that the painting elves have been here, and the field looks beautiful.
So field looking great for tonight's game, as that is your field condition report, brought to you by Grassmasters, the area's premier lawn care and tree care company. One more time out, we've got the opening kickoff of tonight's game right around the corner on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
With fall starting, so is seasonal allergies. This is Dr. John C. Kortenberg at Eyes on Thorrington. Do your eyes itch? Are they irritated or watering? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you may benefit from a prescription for your ocular allergies. Why not feel better today? Call to schedule an appointment at Eyes on Thorrington at 395-EYES. That's 395-3937.
Living in Iowa sure means we rely on our furnaces and air conditioners to keep us comfortable all year round. That's why Algona Plumbing and Heating is proud to be your local trusted Armstrong dealer. They're committed to bringing you the highest quality products in heating and cooling, and it doesn't get any better than Armstrong furnaces and air conditioners. For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, give them a call at 295-5240 or stop by their Dodge Street location. Live comfortably with Algona Plumbing and Heating.
Home Country Radio presents Golden Bear Football, brought to you by Iowa State Bank, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons, Security State Bank, and the many hometown and home country sports club members you'll hear from throughout the game. Now we go live to Home Country Radio Sports Director Tyler Lance with the call.
Big rivalry matchup between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. It's next after the national anthem on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
Dump It, Kossuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain Cullet Grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
District play getting underway tonight from Conway Field in Algona, Iowa, as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears take on the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie for tonight's game, as it's time for your Algona Plumbing and Heating game time temperature, and a beautiful night here. Few clouds in the sky and a temperature of 65 degrees. Beanie, for early September, we've been blessed with a couple of fantastic weather nights to start the football season.
The kids will never realize this, but so far they've had the most perfect weather to start any football season that I can remember. No wind. We just did the national anthem to a lifeless flag. It's just hanging on the newly painted pole over there. Looks great, but the wind is not blowing it anywhere. And yeah, just perfect weather. Today might have been the nicest day of the year, Tyler.
Yeah, you take this 365 days of the year. It's not a perfect night for high school football now. These two teams may figure out next week that we're not going to have perfect weather every week, but we'll worry about next week. Meanwhile, it's the Golden Bears and the Wolverines. Part 4 of the rivalry in 8 players. They played each of the past 3 seasons. Golden Bears winning 2 out of those 3 meetings. Tonight, Bishop Garrigan is wearing the all-black uniforms, black uniform pants, black uniform tops. They have the gold numerals on the front and back, black football helmets with the BG logo on the side. West Bend-Mallard has the purple pants with the yellow stripe down the side, the white uniform tops with the purple numerals on the front and back outlined in yellow. They have the Wolverine helmets, purple with the ubiquitous logo on it as well. At midfield, they're doing the coin toss right now, as the coin toss is brought to you by Eyes on Forrington. See the difference at Eyes on Forrington. Well, Beanie, your final thoughts here before kickoff tonight.
Well, already the Bear captains have gone out with 4 captains. The Wolverines send out 3 captains, and that is my thought on the game. The numbers of Bishop Garrigan Bears, especially on the defense, wearing down the line for the Wolverines and exhibiting their dominance throughout the second half. Not sure the first half, but second half I think you'll see the Bears take this one over.
Well, Bishop Garrigan wins your Eyes on Forrington coin toss, and they defer to the second half. So West Bend-Mallard with the ball to start off. And Beanie, you're always talking to me saying, when are we going to see one of those big 8-player scores, 80-70? Well, the Wolverines had one of those last week, 86-56 over Newell Fonda. So this high-flying Wolverine offense, which never punted last week, gets the ball first tonight.
Wow, that is a lot of points in one game. Over 130 points in a football game. What did those kids get home at midnight? That had to take a while, but I don't think we're going to see anything like that tonight. I think the Garrigan defense has speed to not let West Bend have the big runs, and I think the West Bend defense is outstanding and will keep that Garrigan run game at least under wraps for a while.
Brady Garrigan has the ball teed up at the 30-yard line for Bishop Garrigan, as he will kick it from right to left on the radio dial. Calm night, a couple of clouds in the sky, but no breeze to speak of whatsoever. A perfect night for rivalry football. The Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. Garrigan takes a deep breath as he's ready to kick it off for tonight's matchup. Both teams 1-0 heading into tonight. As the ref blows the whistle, Garrigan approaches the football, and we are underway from Conway Field. It's a short kickoff towards the far side of the field. Micah Fair lets it go. It bounces into, picked up by Austin Schmidt at the 14. Returns to the 15-20. He's the outside 30, 35-40. Schmidt down the sideline. He's trying to get the edge. Thad Kolash finally catches him, and Schmidt is out of bounds at the 20-yard line. For the second week in a row, Bishop Garrigan is burned by a huge return on the opening kickoff.
Wow, Schmidt has great vision there. There was just a little bit of an opening in the left center of that wedge, and he found it in a hurry, and he split right through that little gap and was off to the races. Thad making the touchdown-saving tackle there. Otherwise, it would have been a second consecutive game started with a special teams touchdown.
Well, Austin Schmidt, no time to take a deep breath as he leads the Wolverines out onto the field underneath center. He'll give it to fullback Grimm. Grimm is hit right in the hole, and he is knocked down. Grimm got crunched in the hole that time by Andrew Lichter, coming up from the linebacker spot to make the stop.
Oh, what an excellent read by Lichter. Of course, in this modern day and age, lots of film studied by both these teams. They recognize formations after all the film study. They recognize movements, and Lichter from the linebacker knew exactly where that ball was going. Meets in the backfield.
Well, the Wolverines are a team. They get their play call, and then they hustle up to the line. So Bishop Garrigan, they have to have their matchups already known before the play. You've got to identify where your man is going because Wolverines will sprint to the line, and they'll snap it immediately. Schmidt in the gun this time. He'll take the snap. He'll fake to the running back. He'll keep it himself, and he is buried at the line of scrimmage. Schmidt going nowhere that time as he is engulfed by black jerseys, unpiling from the bottom there for Bishop Garrigan. And that is Carter McGregor on the stop.
Boy, they fake a handoff hoping to freeze the linebackers or at least make people think for a second. But the Garrigan Bears, no hesitation. That fake handoff bought them no time, and Schmidt was immediately swarmed after the fake went through.
Schmidt had 27 carries last week for 241 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaged 8.9 yards per carry. He's alone in the gun, and he drops the snap. It's off his chest, and he has to dive back on top of it at the 20-yard line, make it the 21. Wolverines will lose a yard, and it's now 4th and 12. A promising start, and now facing a long 4th down.
Boy, that Schmidt took that one right off the chest. That center just rifled a shot right at his chest. That would have been good for a punt snap, and Schmidt just couldn't handle it, and here they come up to the line quick again.
Clint Fair, the senior center. Schmidt comes out in the I formation. He'll fake to the back. He's back to throw. He's backpedaling. He's at the 30-yard line. He's trying to escape. Helseth jumps on his back and sacks him at the 29-yard line. Our first Hy-Vee sack of the night. For every Hy-Vee sack, a $25 sack of groceries will be donated to the Cassuth County Food Pantry, but Schmidt got going the wrong way that time, and Helseth ran him down.
Helseth, I was watching him the whole time. He came off his defensive end spot on the left side. He got blocked, but he kept his legs churning. He fought right through that block and was on a mission to get that quarterback. You know, Bishop Garrigan School District has gotten bigger and bigger. We've got kids coming from the Emmitsburg area and the West Bend area. Helseth is one of those kids hailing from the West Bend turf. This game probably means a lot to that young man.
Bishop Garrigan will move their offense from right to left on the radio dial. 10:09 on the clock, and now Furch drops a snap, and he dives on top of it. That one went off to the side right behind his left guard, and a couple of errant snaps by each team so far.
Well, you know, Ethan Marceau was talking to me in class today and said, you know, it might be a little slick out there tonight with the cold temperatures coming in, supposed to get down to 45 tonight. This grass gets a little dewy out there when the temperature starts to dip. So we might see some slippery ball conditions tonight. I see the ball boys have towels everywhere.
2nd down and 11 from Bishop Garrigan. Furch in the eye, hands off to Sink, runs between left guard and center, has a hole, lowers the shoulder and drives forward. Sink an 8-yard gain as he runs over Eli Hansen. Hansen had to hang on for dear life to make the tackle.
A good running by Sink there. He had his eyes up. He was reading the field. Didn't try to do too much, just good, hard, straight ahead running to set up a manageable 3rd down and 2 in the scoreless game.
Ball's at the 36-yard line. The Golden Bears need the 38. 9:20 and taking in the first quarter. Nick Lear split out to the wide side of the field. He's over to the right. Furch under center. Gives to the fullback Marceau. Marceau for the middle. Marceau has the first down as he crosses midfield. Clint Fair dragged him down for the tackle, but not before a 4-yard gain by Ethan Marceau.
You know, typically when Garrigan does a dive like that, you figure Ethan Marceau is going to have to just plow forward for the 2 yards to get the first down, but the line did such a great job. They moved the West Bend line back 2 yards, so Ethan had the first down before he even got hit, and then fought for a couple more.
The linemen for Bend-Mallard, Clint Fair and Abner Zaug with a huge job tonight. As Furch comes out underneath center, Lear out to the right. It'll be a play action for the Golden Bears as Furch boots out to the right, throws to the flat, has Marceau at the 35-yard line. Marceau drives forward, and he gets down just outside of the 30-yard line. A pitch and catch for 8 yards on the first down play.
Marceau, another youngster that lives kind of in between St. Joe and West Bend. And game probably means, well, every game means a lot to Ethan Marceau, last week's player of the game. He just is like a lover of the game of football.
Golden Bears 2nd down and 2 from the 30-yard line. Furch under center again. Ball's on the right hash. The handoff goes to Sink. Sink picking his way for the middle. Sink falls forward. He's twisting and turning down to the 25-yard line. And Bishop Garrigan moves the sticks again.
Very good agility by Trayton Sink there. Does a little bit of a spin move and keeps his legs churning. Tries to spin out of that tackle. But good grip there by the defensive end for West Bend, who's going to go out and get a breather.
Tyler Fogarty heads onto the bench. Wolverines add a little more size as Ackridge checks on the defensive line.
That Ackridge just came in to nose guard. He's a big fella. See if he can plug up that middle for the Wolverines.
Nick Lear out to the left. Furch under center for the Golden Bears. It's a pitch near side to Sink. Sink looking for the edge. He's at the 20. He tiptoes along the sideline, and he's out of bounds inside of the Red Power red zone. They'll mark him out at the 18-yard line. Medium gain of about 6 yards on that first down attempt. Trayton Sink with a good game last week against St. Ed's, Beanie, as he carried 13 times for 66 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
Trayton Sink just is deceptively fast. He's such a smooth runner. It doesn't look like he's working that hard, but he just checks off 10 yards at a time.
He's got a patient running style. This time the wide receiver for the Golden Bears out to the wide side is Owen Murphy. It's the fullback, Even Marceau, plunging through the middle. He's near the sticks, and he has the first down. Golden Bears are down to the 14-yard line, and they are attacking into the center of the defense. Marceau had the hat trick last week, scored 3 touchdowns, ran for 69 yards with a 5.3-yard average per carry, as the Golden Bears used that trademark running and attack to wear things down in the second half against the St. Edmund Gales. Michael Joyce, the wide receiver, out to the right side for Bishop Garrigan, as it'll be 2 backs in the backfield, Marceau and Sink. The handoff goes to Sink. Sink has a big hole up the middle. Sink to the 10. He's to the 5. Into the end zone for a touchdown. 13-yard run by Trayton Sink, and the Golden Bears draw first blood. 6-0 with 7:30 left in the first quarter.
Wow, what a run by Trayton. There you see that deceptive speed. He was on the second level, past the linebackers, just darting through that defense. He's very good job at always keeping that body moving north and south, racing to the end zone there. Nice start for the Bears.
Golden Bears have the swinging gain out to the left. Sink to hold, Galligan to kick if the Golden Bears do elect to kick it. Drew Mahler, the senior, is the long snapper for Bishop Garrigan. Mahler over the football as Galligan backs up. Now the Golden Bears bring the swing gate in. 6-0 Bishop Garrigan as the Wolverines had an opportunity to score with great field position but could not take advantage as they went backwards. And now they jump off sides. Offsides on the Wolverines, and the ball moved half the distance to the goal, so now do you possibly think about going for 2 here for Bishop Garrigan if that half the distance penalty?
Yeah, it's going to be just right outside the goal line. They're going to stay lined up in the field goal position, though. Going to work on that PAT. Well, no, now they're going to change their mind.
They're bringing in some heavy personnel, Beanie. They're bringing in Nate Lear. They're bringing in Caden Graves back in the ballgame, and they're bringing in Even Marceau, and they're going to challenge the Wolverines to stop them on a 2-point conversion. But, of course, you've got to move the ball back 10 yards because here this field is designed for a normal 11-player game, so they've got to move it back. Now it's not a field goal attempt.
It's hard to explain on the air, Tyler, but it makes sense if you see it. Yeah, so they had to move the ball back. Boy, they're just about 1 yard away from pay dirt here.
Power formation, couple of tight ends, a couple of backs. Lear on the left side, Rosenmeyer on the right side. Furch is going to sneak. He pushes forward. He's near the goal line, and I don't know. It looks like he doesn't have it, and they stop him. Wolverines stop the quarterback sneak by Tate Furch, and after the Golden Bears attacked into the middle, that time the middle of the defense held up.
That was a good old-fashioned pileup. There were 16 bodies in a giant pile at the goal line. It's up to the referees to sort that one out.
So Bishop Garrigan leads West Bend-Mallard 6-0, 7:30 on the clock in quarter number 1. We'll keep it right here at Conway Field on Hometown Radio. Make that Home Country Radio KLGZ. Over on Hometown Radio KLGA, Brian Wilson has the call as the Algona Bulldogs take on the Forest City Indians. But 6-0 right now in favor of Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears last year defeating West Bend-Mallard 36-31. The home team has won all of the matchups since Bishop Garrigan moved down to the 8-player class. Or I should say the road team has won all the matchups. Got that one reversed there as the Golden Bears got the win on the road last year. Wolverines won here in 2022 with an impressive second-half performance. But a lot of graduations for the Wolverines, Beanie. They graduated 11 players after the 2022 season. They graduated 9 players last year. So 20 players leaving the program, and most of them starters in 2 years. That's a lot for Coach Wirtz and the squad to look to replace this season.
For sure, a challenge for the Wolverines. And the Golden Bears on the other side, you would have thought, how could we replace those seniors from last year? Won a state title, Benji Traynor, Justin Bauer, the list goes on. But boy, when you win a state title, does that get everyone fired up to go out for football? And the numbers are right there in a big senior class.
Galligan ready to kick it away for the Golden Bears as he'll kick it deep. It's back towards the 5-yard line where it's taken by Fair. Fair returns 15-20 to the middle 25, and he bangs his way forward, getting out to about the 27-yard line. Tackle made on the play for the Golden Bears as Kyle Borman made the stop.
Well, that will please the special teams coaches for the Bears. After a couple rough beginnings to the first 2 games of the season, giving up long kickoff returns, that was good coverage there, swarmed the ball, and brought the runner to the ground, no problems.
So we'll see what the Wolverines can do offensively on this drive. They went backwards last time around. Here's the turn and the handoff to Cole Fair. Fair trying to find space, but that middle is clogged up. 3 black jerseys jumping right on top of him, led by Keaton Helliseth, making another early stop.
Well, Cole Fair shows that he's not going to go down easy in this contest. He really kept his legs churning, was fighting that whole Bear pile, but it was 1 against 5, and he wasn't going to win there. That whole defensive line for Bishop Garrigan in there. Madden Miller playing left linebacker, Lichter linebacker, and of course Ethan Marceau, the biggest middle linebacker I think you're going to find in 8-man football in our area.
How about Cole Fair scoring 7 touchdowns last week, 6 on the ground, and also had a kick return touchdown. Gives to the fullback Grimm. Grimm's hit in the backfield by Marceau. He breaks that tackle, but more black jerseys are there. They'll wrap him up. Andrew Lichter making a stop for the Golden Bears, and Wyatt Rosenmeyer also there on the bottom of the pile. And once again, the Wolverines just not getting a whole lot of push up front.
Well, you know, Tyler, those numbers just seem ridiculous. 7 touchdowns, that sounds made up. But in this 8-man game, that is a possibility. And as long as the other team keeps scoring, you can rack up those points, because 7 times 6 is 42 points for one guy, and there used to be the old 50-point rule, but boy, these 8-man games, they just keep churning out points.
And he averaged 13.3 yards per carry as well as Schmidt boots out to the right. 3rd down and 9. Schmidt's going to throw. Ball's tipped up in the air, and it's incomplete. That ball went off of the hands of Fair, the intended target, and it nearly deflected right to Grimm along the sidelines, but ball was just out of bounds, and it's 4th and 9.
Now on that one, a lot of people say, well, in the 8-man game, you know, there's so much wide open field, but remember the field is narrower. So that was one of those, when that ball went up in the air, if it was 11-man width, that would have been intercepted, but it goes out of bounds.
So West Bend-Mallard will have to punt for the first time this season. Cesar Falcon in to kick it away as he left foots it. That ball is towards the far side of the field. It bounces at the 30-yard line, and it's going to take a Wolverine roll and settle at about the 25. So that punt will be giving Bishop Garrigan decent field position for Tate Furch in the offense, but Golden Bears moved without a whole lot of problem that first drive, really mostly for the run game and then one quick pass by Furch.
There were some nervous coaches on that last play. Isaac DeLang, special teams master for the Bears, he had hustled all the way downfield with his good speed, and he was in the vicinity of the ball, but he didn't see where it was. It was behind his helmet, and that's one of the things you forget about helmets. You have very limited vision in front of you, and Isaac didn't know where the ball was. Fortunately, it didn't hit him.
2 tight ends for Bishop Garrigan, and Marshall lined up at essentially a 3rd tight end spot as the handoff goes to Sink. Sink for the middle. He's picking his way through, and he breaks a tackle. Sink across the 40. Sees Green in front of him. He's to the 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown! Trayton Sink breaking free for a huge score for the Golden Bears. He goes 65 yards, and it's 12-0 right off the bat.
Wow, you mentioned yards per carry. Trayton's yards per carry is out of this world so far. He's ripping off runs of 10 yards, and that one's 65 yards. Well, incredible blocking up front. You've got Ethan Marshall going through as a lead blocker every play, and Trayton goes right behind him, reads which way he should go, and after that, it's just good blocking by the Garrigan receivers. Great tackle breaking, too, there by Trayton Sink.
Sink's so patient to let those blocks develop as the Golden Bears will go for 2. Exact same formation as the last play. Furch keeps, boots out to the right. Marceau wide open, and he makes the catch. The Golden Bears hid Marceau along the left side of that offensive line, and then no one picked him up as he crossed the formation.
Wow, I would have gone for that fake. I mean, how can you pay attention to Marceau going out there? What a great fake by Furch. Easy 2-point conversion. Wide open Marceau.
Bishop Garrigan 14, West Bend-Mallard nothing, as we'll take our first time out here on Home Country and at the Elgato Radio YouTube stream.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Nutrient Ag Solutions of Irvington and Laverne for all your crop input needs.
Erpelding Boyd & Company CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
All bringing you this ball game.
It is Bishop Garrigan 14, West Bend-Mallard nothing here on Home Country Radio KLGZ. Brady Galligan to kick right to left for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. As Galligan boots it away, he'll kick it deep back towards Schmidt. He's a dangerous return man as he fields at the 6. Returns middle to the 10, 15, 20, lowers the shoulder and spins forward. Isaac DeLane makes the tackle at the 24-yard line as the Golden Bears did a better job of bottling up Schmidt on that return.
What do you know? Isaac DeLang in on the tackle on that. Also, Nick Lear, the big senior, coming in for help on that. DeLang gets the legs. Lear gets him up top. That'll get Schmidt to the ground.
Well, Schmidt, the quarterback for West Bend-Mallard, only had to attempt 2 passes last week, went 1 of 2 for 11 yards because the Wolverines, they ran for over 530 yards against Newell Fonda, so they kept it on the ground, but now he's got to throw. 2 receivers split out to the right. He'll throw a quick hitter to the tight end Fogarty, curling towards the middle, and he's brought down by Mad Miller. That's going to go for a 1-yard gain as the Wolverines try to hit Fogarty in space, but the Golden Bear defense read it well.
This linebacking crew for Bishop Garrigan is so quick. Once they realize it's not a run, they get to their zones extremely well. Madden Miller just covers the flats immediately, nowhere to go there. Good defensive communication.
Yeah, Madden Miller's the kind of linebacker who I think would run through a wall if Coach Wadley told him to, and he showed his ability in week 1, really ranging around. He was all over the field against the St. Edmund Gales, and this Garrigan linebacker core extremely strong right now for Lichter, Marceau, and Miller as the 3 starters. Wolverines get up to the line quickly. Schmidt alone in the shotgun. He has 3 receivers. Trey Bunch to the left and looked like moving up front that time as a flag comes in and take 5 yards off for the Wolverines here. 2nd down and 14 after the false start.
You know, and going back to that linebacker core for Garrigan, Miller there just a sophomore, and he had to earn that position because there's a host of linebackers here on the Garrigan lineup. You know, just because you have 54 guys doesn't mean you have 54 variety of positions, and a lot of those guys out there are linebackers, but Miller really earned the respect of the upperclassmen. They know he's a good player. He had a great JV season as a freshman last year, and he's really stepping up after a good offseason of putting on some speed and some size.
Bishop Garrigan leading West Bend-Mallard 14-0 on the Greg Penning Company certified public accountant scoreboard as the Wolverines run the play in here. They're going to have to hustle. Play clock's down to 8 and they're still in the huddle. And now they sprint up to the line. Little confusion for the Wolverines getting up there. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. They get the snap off. Schmidt throws quickly out to the left as he hits Eli Hansen. Hansen looking for the sideline. He gets past the original line of scrimmage and he gets forward and sets up a 3rd down at about 8. That'll pick up about 6 yards for Eli Hansen as he's forced out of bounds of 4:26 on the clock.
Well, that was a great block out there on the sidelines by Wesley Anderson for West Bend-Mallard. He really sealed that edge, got a good block on the previously mentioned Madden Miller, the linebacker, who was able to and got those yards picked up. Otherwise, it would have been a tackle for loss. But teams are going to have a hard time passing against Bishop Garrigan because even if they get that completion, Tyler, we see Michael Joyce back there playing the deep position, and he's got some athleticism.
West Bend-Mallard has 3rd and 8 from the 28-yard line, and they got the Golden Bears to jump. It depends if the offensive line twitched, though. I think they'll get Golden Bears offside as McGregor from that nose guard position was a little bit amped up to go, and now much more manageable 3rd down, 3 yards to go for the Wolverines.
Yes, McGregor getting the start tonight. He's a smaller guy to play nose tackle, but the Garrigan coaches like to have a smaller, quicker nose tackle in there. It gives them an advantage, they think, of breaking up that run and getting in the backfield. So McGregor in there because he is so aggressive, and he gets burned on his eagerness there.
Had a sack last week against St. Edmund. Wolverines will go for quarterback sneak. They push their way forward, and they have the 1st down. Golden Bears got a taste of the medicine that they dealt out last year of a quarterback sneak going for 3 yards and a chain mover.
Boy, that time victory goes to the offensive line to West Bend-Mallard. They just blew Garrigan off the line that time. Garrigan, you can't take a play off against West Bend-Mallard, and they did that time and got blown off the line. Saw a couple of those linemen just get blown back. And that's one thing you give up with the smaller nose guard. Like, they can get blown back a little bit.
Clint Fair is the center for West Bend-Mallard. They graduated 2 of the 3 offensive line starters last year. Schmidt runs towards the right side. They have him bottled up. He tries to cut inside, but Heliseth makes the stop again. That'll go for 1 yard, but Schmidt just couldn't find the edge against a disciplined Golden Bear defense.
That was persistence and athleticism by Heliseth. You know, sometimes you forget how athletic that young man is, but there was good blocking on the edge. They blocked Miller very well. They got the initial good block on Heliseth, but he just fought through it.
Wolverines graduated Jackson Zaug and Cortland Schupach on the offensive line last year. Jason Akridge and Abner Zaug, the new starters, and a false start by West Bend-Mallard. Second one of this drive, the Wolverines are going to be knocked back to a 2nd and 14.
You know, I think that false start was pretty much on the center because everybody kind of moved. West Bend does that really quick snap. They sprint up to the line and say go. And that time when they said go, the center just had a flinch and didn't snap the ball in time.
So make it 2nd and 14 from the 32-yard line. Wolverines approaching midfield, but they have to get it across midfield to the 35 to get a 1st down as we're at 3:12 and ticking in quarter number 1. Slow start on the road so far for this West Bend-Mallard offense, trying to get across midfield on this drive. Schmidt has 3 receivers bunched to the left. He's going to run to the left where the blockers are. It's student body left. Schmidt looking for space. He's pushed towards the sideline, and he's knocked down. He'll lose half a yard as the Golden Bears set the edge. Forced out by Andrew Lichter, the rangy linebacker.
So important by those linebackers and defensive ends to set the edge because that enables the whole defensive line to flow to the ball. That time Schwab was all the way over there. Everyone going to the ball.
Third down, 14 yards to go from the 32-yard line. Just under 3 minutes left in quarter number 1 as West Bend-Mallard trails Bishop Garrigan 14-0.
Rosemeyer coming out, taking a break. Garrigan starting to sub defensively to keep people fresh.
Wesley Anderson runs in the play for this West Bend-Mallard offense. Not a whole lot in the playbook for 3rd and 14, especially with such a heavy run team, but they get 2 receivers out to the wide side of the field. Schmidt backpedaling, looking for space. He'll throw towards the left as they try to set up a throwback screen, but it's incomplete. Carter Schwab was all over that as he had Cole Fair blanketed.
Yeah, everybody was covered. Probably a good job by Schmidt there just to throw that one in the dirt. You would hate to give up a pick 6 right there in your own territory. So Wolverines will punt it away here as the special teams punt receive team comes in. A lot of fresh faces out there getting bodies in the game.
Back deep to receive, Owen Murphy for Bishop Garrigan. Falcon takes the snap head level. He waits, and he unloads a spiraling punt back towards the 20-yard line. Murphy fields. He fields it low, and he returns towards the near side of the field. Murphy to the 25, and he's wrapped up and he's dragged down. How about Clint Fair, the center, getting down there to make the tackle on the speedy Owen Murphy?
Boy, yeah, Murphy showed some incredible wheels last week, and looks like Garrigan had the return left set up. So Murphy caught the ball and immediately headed to the left sideline, but great coverage by West Bend-Mallard, fighting through blocks and forced them out there.
Yeah, the Bishop Garrigan sideline was pointing at Murphy and telling him to turn it up the field, but Clint Fair just never let him, and he contained that return, stopping it at the 27-yard line.
Great block thrown initially, freed him up. I didn't see who made that, but it's unique with the special teams of Garrigan. They've got these 14 seniors, so those special teams have a lot of experienced players out there.
Tate Furch leads the Golden Bear offense back out. Threw for 130 yards on 8 of 14 passing last week. Here's jet motion by Trayton Sink, and they blow the play dead. Flag comes in, and Golden Bears are going to lose 5 yards one way or the other here.
Well, they thought about it for a while. The line judge, I think, saw it, but threw the flag, but forgot to blow the whistle.
So make it 1st and 15 for Bishop Garrigan. Relatively low penalty game last week as the Golden Bears took on St. Edmund, and that's always something we talk about early in the season. How disciplined are teams coming out of training camp? Do you have the timing down? Or guys aren't going to jump on the offensive line, that sort of thing?
Totally right. This is a great opportunity for Garrigan to take a deep shot. They got a 14-0 lead.
Furch rolls out towards the right side. Furch, he's got to set up, he's got to throw. He's got a wide open man, Rosenmeyer at the 6, and he has the first down. Steps out of bounds near midfield. And maybe they'll say just short of the first down, but he must have been out of bounds 1 yard shy, so not a very generous spot for Rosenmeyer there, but 2nd down and 1 after the 14-yard pitch and catch.
Nifty catch by Rosenmeyer. He had to turn sideways and kind of caught it on his hip, turned it upfield.
Rosenmeyer was really a blocking tight end last year, had just 1 reception last season as the Wolverines almost jump offside. Handoff goes to Sink. He goes to the left side and he breaks a tackle. He's across the 40. He's to the 35-yard line, and he's finally knocked down by a horde of Wolverines at the 35. Tackle made by Clint Fair, but first down Bishop Garrigan as Sink continues a productive game.
Boy, that's a great job by the Bear play callers. They mixed up the offense. They took the deep shot right away. That made the linebackers and defensive backs be honest, and so they come right back with that off-tackle run to pick up a big chunk of yards. When they can vary their offensive plays like that, it makes them very difficult to defend.
Bishop Garrigan's going big here. Nate Lear, the tight end on the left side. Rosenmeyer, the tight end on the right, and the running back Sink flexed out to the right. Handoff goes to Marceau. Marceau running to the right side, trying to beat Fair to the edge, but Fair wraps him up and tackles him around the hip. Marceau stopped the line of scrimmage as Cole Fair was all over him.
You don't see Marceau try to go outside very often, and Tate Furch, the quarterback, just told him right now, went over and said, hey, turn that upfield. Just run over people. You don't need to try to run around to the outside. We've got tailbacks that do that. And another sign that Furch, definitely the leader of this offense, even as a junior. They trust that guy at the helm.
2nd and 10 for Bishop Garrigan. Cole Fair for West Bend-Mallard made 44 tackles, had 2 sacks last season. One of the experienced returning linebackers. The Golden Bears are down to 9 on the play clock and haven't broken the huddle. Sink runs off the field late. Golden Bears have Murphy out to the right, short side of the field. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Murphy motions and they got it off. They fake the handoff to Murphy, but Bishop Garrigan may have called a timeout before that play, and they did.
Boy, they were trying to gauge whether they needed to burn that timeout or not. They would have got away with it. I think they got the play off, but whether or not it's true, Coach Wiley's going to go out there and talk about that jet sweep they were about to run.
So timeout just to be safe, and that's part of the problem too. Because Bishop Garrigan got so close and they tried to run the play, they just showed West Bend-Mallard what they were going to do, run the jet sweep to the wide side of the field. So Coach Wiley and crew will be thinking of a new play call in all likelihood after showing the Wolverines that jet sweep.
Well, they certainly can't switch the play. They got 1:11 left in the quarter. They had a 14-point lead. You've got all these plays. This is one of your bigger games of the whole season. Why not open up that playbook and try something big? They got the timeout called. Tyler, what do you think? Are they going to go take a shot at the end zone right now?
We'll see. I think Bishop Garrigan is content with being patient, and it's been surprising just with the kind of push Garrigan's gotten up front early in this game. If you're the Wolverines, obviously you worry about maybe wearing down a bit in the second half with not being able to rotate a ton of guys in and out. But I think if you're West Bend-Mallard, you're a little bit startled by how good of the push Garrigan's getting up front. So I think Coach Wadley is very content right now to be patient and just matriculate the ball down the field.
Well, Coach Wadley can be patient. That's fine. If it's probably all as well as ends well. But I say let's take a shot at the end zone. Let's get that Owen Murphy and that Michael Joyce sprinting out there in the open turf and throw those guys the ball. Let's make this exciting. Or you don't have to throw it to them. That jet sweep was a good call, but here they go. We'll see if they have a new play called or not. Marceau comes and out, so there goes their power blocker. I might be onto something here. Here might be a big pass play coming.
Lichter's coming in. He's the running back for Bishop Garrigan. Trayton Sink's out to the right, and the Golden Bears have a couple of tight ends, one on each side of the line of scrimmage. Here's the motion by Sink. Furch wasn't ready for the snap. The play is still live. It's a busted play as Furch drives forward, and he somehow got a few yards out of that. Furch thought that play was going to get blown dead, and he's fortunate he didn't fumble there.
Well, was that a busted play? Because two running backs came through. Was that just a misdirection and Furch was supposed to run that all the way? Because he didn't look like he meant to. I don't know. That was a confusing one, Tyler. We'll have to hash that one out with the coaches later, say what happened after that timeout. But even so, Furch picks up 4 yards.
3rd down and 7. 42 seconds left in the first quarter as Bishop Garrigan leads West Bend-Mallard 14-0. Murphy's out to the left. Make that Lichter out to the left. As Furch will hand off to Sink. Sink bouncing it outside. He's across the 30. He's to the 25. He dives along the sideline, and he has just enough for the first down. Sink needed 7. He got about 8. And Bishop Garrigan once again moves the chains on a 3rd and medium.
Trayton Sink just got hit in the face by the referee who was signaling first down, and a first down right into his face here. You know, West Bend-Mallard is giving up some yards, but that was pretty well defended there. A good flow to the ball by the Wolverine defense, but this is that kind of ground game that wears teams down.
This time it's Joyce and Sink out to the right. Sink's in the slot. Nick Lear out to the left as a 3-receiver set. Furch looking to throw quickly. He pulls it down, and now he's running. He's wrapped in the backfield. Zaug's got him, but Furch breaks the tackle, and now he's able to tiptoe forward and somehow get positive yardage. Furch somehow escaped the grasp of the sophomore Abner Zaug, and he got 1 yard out of that. That should have been a lost play.
Another strange play. It looked like Furch was looking to pass to his left, but no one was looking, or maybe someone was covered, so then he tries to make something out of nothing. Goes back the other way. Helliseth was trying to maintain a block, but after the play was over, Helliseth kind of looks and says, what's going on there?
An eventful first quarter comes to an end. 14-0 Bishop Garrigan as we head to the second. This is high school football on Home Country Radio and on the Elgato Radio YouTube stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oakcrest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college. All bringing you this game on the radio.
The team's flip sides of the field. The second quarter begins on Home Country Radio. Bishop Garrigan 14, West Bend-Mallard nothing as the Golden Bears have 2nd and 9 from the 23-yard line. Furch is in the gun. Marceau on his left hip, and he's back to throw. Furch throws the slant, and it's knocked away. Nearly picked off by Cole Fair, who just didn't get his head around in time. Otherwise, that might have been 6 the other direction.
Boy, Cole Fair just reacted with his right hand and swatted it out of the air like a bug. But now he's thinking, oh, wait a minute, I could have caught that and ran the other way. But hey, you gotta, his instincts are good. Swatted that thing away.
Well, Bishop Garrigan is looking to spread it out a little bit more the last few plays and test West Bend-Mallard's secondary that allowed 432 yards passing to Newell Fonda's Max Carlson last week. Quarterback draw, Tate Furch up the middle. Furch gets forward, and he's inside the 15-yard line, and he has the first down. No hesitation by Furch. Stuck the foot in the ground, went to north to south, and moves the sticks.
Looks like we're in the Case IH red zone.
We're in the Red Power red zone.
Red Power red zone. the Red Power Red Zone is always fun to be in, but when you have these big scoring plays, you don't get to take your time in the red zone. We'll see if Garrigan takes their time in the Red Power Red Zone here. That's a great draw by Furch. I thought they might pass it, but it was a draw all the way.
And once again, Bishop Garrigan is just creating tremendous running lanes in the middle of the defense. Rosenmeyer, the tight end on the left side, I formation. It's a fullback gift to Marceau. Bounces it outside to the left. Lowers the shoulder. Spins it. He's near the goal line. Touchdown, Ethan Marceau. What a move by Marceau. Looked like he was stopped at the 5-yard line, but he spun, kept the momentum, and got to the goal line.
Is that Ethan Marceau, the fullback, or Ethan Marceau, the tailback? He put his head down, but the Wolverine defender went lower, so it hit him in the shins, and he just jumped right out of it, did a spin move, leapt for the end zone, showing some great agility there by Ethan Marceau.
His back got so low to the ground on that spin move. It's almost like he rolled over the top of the defender, then got back on his feet and got to the end zone.
I don't know how that 200-plus pounds didn't take him all the way to the turf. Somehow he pulled himself up off the turf after that spin and flipped into the end zone. That's some acrobatic running.
How about this? Marceau with 4 rushing touchdowns this season. He had 8 last year, so already halfway to that total as the snap is good to Trayton Sink, and the ball is right-footed up and through the goalpost by Brady Galligan. 21-0 Bishop Garrigan at the 11-19 mark of the second quarter, as we'll keep it right here at Conway Field. Without being any pressures on the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines so far, 3 drives for Bishop Garrigan, 3 touchdowns. This Wolverine offense has not made a whole lot of progress, so they're going to have to find a way to win in what has been against a high-scoring Garrigan offense so far.
Boy, you're right. They need an answer here, but that Garrigan defense has been stout so far. They've been everywhere on the field. It looks like Garrigan's got 11 defenders out there to West Bend-Mallard's 8 on offense, but that's just the speed of the Bishop Garrigan defense. They're just everywhere, smothering that West Bend-Mallard offense so far. So if you're the coaches for West Bend-Mallard, boy, you really start to have to get creative. They can't wait to get to halftime here and maybe have a chance to drop something new that might work. Because right now, Garrigan is sniffing out all of their offensive plays.
And that's the thing. There's a couple huge weapons for the Wolverines on offense, but you look at their quarterback, Austin Schmidt. He ran for 241 yards last week. Their running back, Cole Fair, went for 279, and that's about all the offense as far as yards gained is concerned from last week. So Garrigan is really queuing in on those two.
This is a good opportunity for the Wolverines right now. I mean, special teams. Garrigan has given up some big returns this season, one to start the game off. So this could be a scoring opportunity that the Wolverines can take advantage of.
Ball's on the right side hash. Galligan approaches and he kicks it away, end over end back towards Schmidt. Schmidt heels at the 5-yard line, makes the catch, returns to the 10, middle of the field, 15-20, sees a seam, he's to the 25, he's to the 30, and he's tackled right there. Isaac DeLang makes the stop again, but Schmidt, with a nice burst of speed, gets out to the 30-yard line.
Boy, DeLang with the nose for the ball, but that time Drew Moeller, the senior, was down the field. Had a good block put on him by a Wolverine and just reached out with his big left arm and almost got Schmidt down. But good blocking by that wedge on the West Bend-Mallard kick receive team.
Schmidt did return 2 kickoffs or touchdowns last year as the Wolverines' primary returner, and he's back to throw. Quick pass to the right side, caught by Fair. Fair runs into the chest of Marceau and spins forward for about a yard. Little pitch and catch out to the right, but Ethan Marceau ranging out to the far side of the field.
Well, the Wolverines have decided that that swing pass out to the edge is a good way to get their ball carrier the ball. But the outside linebacker, that time it was Madden Miller, is right there. And if Tyler Fogarty for the Wolverines doesn't throw a great block there, that's going to be a pick 6 for Garrigan. But so far, Tyler Fogarty continues to throw great blocks on the outside linebackers.
And that's the senior tight end for the Wolverines. They love to line up with 2, sometimes 3 tight ends, and Fogarty is really a leader amongst them as Coach Wirtz and the staff will take a timeout with 10:35 left here in the second quarter. Well, Beanie, if you look at the Wolverines, last year had that 7-3 record. Obviously, one of those losses was Garrigan. One of the interesting quirks of West Bend-Mallard's schedule, their 3 losses were to the previous 3 state champions. They lost the 36-31 game against Bishop Garrigan. They lost to the 2022 state champion Remsen St. Mary's, and then in the playoffs, lost to the team that Garrigan saw, Cam, who was the 2021 champion. So Wolverines played a very difficult schedule last year, and again, they took care of business against the teams they needed to take care of. But again, that game against Garrigan kind of got away from them, and they played some really tough competition in the regular season with that non-district game against Remsen.
Yeah, so, you know, just a typical good program year in and year out. Solid program with great coaching, and they just knocking on the door all the time. And you feel for those teams because there's quite a few of teams like that where you're always almost getting over the edge. Garrigan has often been that team, whether it's 11-man or 8-man football. But an example, baseball. How many years have we called the district final game against Newman, Tyler? And Garrigan's so close, but just can't get over that edge.
Yeah, that Newman team has been a thorn in the side for Garrigan baseball-wise as We just had a T-shirt launch, folks. One of the cheerleaders had a T-shirt cannon and cleared the entire press box, so we've got to tune that cannon up as Schmidt does a quarterback draw, and he is swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, again, we want to give a credit to one person on the tackle, but Golden Bears had about 3 or 4 jerseys in there.
Yeah, you hate to be a statistician here, but Matt Besh called out here on the loudspeaker by David Burrow. Besh is coming out now. Sink is coming in. Matt Besh, one of those players, he's just going to get one play there, but there's so many up-and-coming talented players here at that class particular that the coaches have no hesitation in working into the lineup when they need to.
Fair over the football for the Wolverines as Schmidt is in the gun. He's back to throw, and the Golden Bears bring pressure. Schmidt unloads towards the left side. He fires. It's a diving grab by Anderson. Did he get the hands underneath it? That's going to be a big catch by Wesley Anderson for the first down at the 30-yard line. What a throw and what a grab.
Wow, what a catch by Anderson. He laid out for that ball, cradled it in as he hit the ground. Thank God we don't have instant replay because that was a catch all the way in my book. But you look at that thing in slow-mo 80 times, and it probably hit the ground. But what an effort by Anderson. Bringing that ball in. Well thrown ball. That is a recipe for the Wolverines to use.
That's a nice spiral by Schmidt. He put a little air underneath it. He has 3 blockers out to the right side, cuts towards the middle, and gets tripped up around the ankles. Even Marshall had a death grip on the ankles that time as Schmidt gains about 3 yards.
Boy, that's a great ankle tackle by Marceau. I dare say that's some wrestling experience right there. Marceau, one of the Bishop Garrigan players that wrestles for the Algona Bulldogs in the wintertime. And that was a great takedown, ankle pick.
It was such a good ankle tackle that the shoe of Austin Schmidt came off, and he has to go to the sideline to get a new shoe. So Wolverines are going to have to change their personnel here if the play clock down to 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's a heck of a grip by Marceau to snag that ankle. But, we talk about that a lot in multi-level football, college and high school. Those football coaches love to find out that their players are wrestlers.
Well, Eli Hansen is going to be the quarterback. Make that Cole Fair is going to be the quarterback as the Wolverines are going to spend a timeout. So you don't want to do a play if you're a quarterback off the field, so they wisely take a timeout. But being back to that point about wrestling, I think that's such a good point. Coaches, they love to see multi-sport athletes. Obviously, track and field's a big one for developing the speed, but wrestling, there's so much precision, there's so much footwork, of course, the raw strength as well. So that's something that, like you said, coaches do love to see that.
Yeah, and that agility and ability to be strong while you're low to the ground. You develop that all through a wrestling season. I know tomorrow they've got the Cy-Hawk game. Aaron Graves, the lineman for the Hawkeyes, the D lineman, was an all-state wrestler every year. He's got that balance and strength. So it's irreplaceable to have that agility on the line, and wrestling's one of those places where you get that.
Speaking of the Cy-Hawk game, what's your over or under on punts for tomorrow?
They say it's supposed to be a defensive matchup, so I'm going to be a contrarian. I'm going to say both the Hawkeyes and Cyclones are going to surprise everybody with offensive power. I think I think we're talking about scores in the 30s.
What?
Yeah, I'm going there.
What? Well, we'll wait and see, folks. Running to the left side, it's Fair off the direct snap. Fair gets stood up, though, by Andrew Lichter. Fair gained maybe 1 yard on that play, but Lichter just put up a roadblock on the running back out of the Wildcats.
Well, give credit to Schwab on the slowdown. He fought through, and he dove at the back, and he thought he might get him. But Andrew Lichter will get credit for the tackle with aid by his teammate Carter Schwab, who forced him into his teammate's loving arms on the sideline.
So Schmidt runs back in for the Wolverines, but I should note, Fair taking direct snaps at the running back position. The Wolverines did consider Cole Fair for the quarterback this year. They do have a history of having previous running backs move to the quarterback spot. Of course, the great Lyndon Montag last year, their single-season rushing record holder, moved to quarterback. As it's a botched exchange, ball's on the ground, and Garrigan scoops it up. Carter McGregor has it, and the Wolverines turn it over. A faulty exchange and the first turnover of the ball game.
Yeah, Carter McGregor, the nose guard, right there. He was on the line there with Matt Besh on his right and Keaton Helsel on his left, and they just were in there in a heartbeat when that play was misplayed by the Wolverines.
So a crushing turnover for the Wolverines cross midfield, but they turned it over at the 32-yard line, and Bishop Garrigan has the back of 8:03 on the clock in the second quarter. So far, 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. Wolverines defense has to stand up here and pick up the offense.
We've got split left, Owen Murphy and Michael Joyce. Will the Bears pass on first down here?
Nick Lear out to the right side. Sure looks like it. Furch is in the shotgun. Marshall stays in the block. It's a 2-man rush. Furch standing, running out of time. Pursued by Fair, and he's got to unload it into the sideline. Furch was running for his life as Clint Fair started breathing down his neck, and he smartly throws the football away.
Must have been good coverage there by the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. We'll call that almost a coverage sack, although Furch got rid of the ball wisely. Lear had gone deep. Joyce was on the far sideline, and Murphy had drug all the way across the field, and the Wolverines were able to cover everyone apparently. But I like that aggressiveness on first down. You're ahead 21-0. You know, might as well work on some of those deep shots early in your down series. Confident you can pick up the first down here with some running.
And that's a classic Wolverine scheme defensively. Rush just 2 guys as a flag comes in, illegal motion by Bishop Garrigan, but they really ask a lot of their 2 defensive linemen. Just rush 2 guys, have 1 man spy the quarterback, and then everyone else back in coverage. It's really allowing the secondary to cover receivers, and you hope one of those 2 guys breaks through as Cole Fair did to chase after the quarterback, or excuse me, Clint Fair.
Good prediction by the West Bend-Mallard defensive coaching staff to get that coverage out there, recognizing that Garrigan was in that passing formation and having the passing personnel out there making the quick calls there. Now, we'll see what Garrigan opts to here. That last penalty, Caden Graves was upset. He thought that was on him.
Second down, 15 yards to go. Jet motion by Sink. First bobbles the snap, but he's swallowed up in the backfield. Abner Zaug jumps on top of him, and the Golden Bears are going the wrong direction. They'll lose 2 yards on that with a little trouble on the snap.
Look, Caden Graves is the center. He put a little mustard on that snap. He shot that one back to Furch pretty quick. That ball might be getting slippery, but I think the reason Caden Graves did that is that was an interesting play. They nearly pulled their entire line. Everybody went left, and they had a ton of blockers out on that far side of the field. I think Furch was maybe thinking about following all those guys, but had to fall on the ball instead after the bumbled snap.
Well, 3rd and 17. Golden Bears of 7:17 on the clock in the second quarter. Furch underneath center. Golden Bears look like they're just going to run it here. It's a pitch to the right side for Lichter. Lichter trying to turn up the field, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. He gained 4 or 5 yards, but not nearly enough for the first down. And for the first time tonight, the Golden Bears will be forced to punt.
Well, they're forced to punt, but that wasn't without some entertainment there. It's always entertaining to see Ethan Marceau and Wyatt Rosemeyer on that play. They come out there as lead blockers, and they're always lighting somebody up. That time, both did a good job blocking, but West Bend-Mallard better at their flow to the ball.
And that drive, too, is why you see so many coaches harp on the penalties and negative plays, as Golden Bears had 3 drives where they marched down the field. That time got stopped with a penalty and really a botched play as Joyce gets off a nice punt. Schmidt has room, though. He fields at the 15-yard line and goes right. Schmidt to the 20. He's to the 25, and he's finally breaking tackles again, and he's across the 30-yard line out to the 33. He gains an extra 4 or 5 yards just squeezing through a gap between a couple of black jerseys.
Well, those black jerseys for Garrigan getting their money's worth on the special team. A lot of kids that are getting a little playing time. Isaac DeLang, the senior, Kyle Borman, the junior, Nick Lear, Amari Thomas, all those guys get in for a few plays. In that one, they had to work extremely hard because this special teams for West Bend are very good. I can see Coach Wirtz for West Bend-Mallard must have really worked special teams this week thinking, hey, we need to get up a special team score. And they almost have punched a couple through, but Garrigan holding, bending but not breaking.
Yeah, it always feels like Schmidt is about to break one when he catches a punt or a kickoff as Schmidt does a quarterback draw up the middle, and Matt Besch drives him sideways. Maybe half a yard for Schmidt, is just running through the middle has not been the formula tonight for the Wolverines.
Now Rosemeyer coming in for Besch here. Besch bringing some size and speed together. He can play on the line. He can play linebacker spot, and a very versatile player for the Bears. But now they got Rosemeyer, Schwab for some size. McGregor and Helliseth are going to be our 4 down linemen. And Lichter, Marceau, and Miller, the 3 linebackers. Joyce is the deep safety.
Wolverines hustle up to the line of 2nd down and 10, trailing 21-0. Schmidt is in the gun. It's an option play. He keeps it himself, and he's knocked down on the backfield. He juked so hard to try to avoid Carter McGregor that his feet came out from underneath him, and a mistake to keep it on the option as the Wolverines lose a few yards.
So there's those adjustments we talked about before the game, Tyler. McGregor then, at the last second, moves over and lines up right between 2 linemen, and they couldn't decide who to block him. So he comes through with his speed and quickness, kind of a little lineman, before anyone could get a hand on him.
So 3rd down and 13 for the Wolverines. They have been behind the sticks so far tonight. Back to throw is Schmidt. Golden Bears rush free. Here comes Schwab. Schmidt escapes, but he can't get away from Helliseth, who dumps him in the backfield for the 2nd sack of the night. Keaton Helliseth coming through again as Schmidt danced around, but he could not avoid that 2nd wave.
Well, that was a very wise play by Andrew Lichter, the linebacker. They wanted to throw it to Fair there, and they had him lined up on the outside. Lichter immediately realized that, and as soon as the ball was snapped, he came up and popped him, and that hit made him unable to catch that ball.
2nd Hy-Vee sack of the night is another $25 sack of groceries is going to the Sioux County Food Pantry. Falcon unloads left-footed punt. Murphy calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 29-yard line.
a little bit of an early whistle there. I guess they were confident that Murphy was going to catch the ball because they blew the whistle before he actually caught it. But he did haul it in, and that's an immediate dead ball after the fair catch call.
Yeah, the way they blew the whistle, I thought they were blowing the play dead. I thought something maybe happened to the line of scrimmage because you're right, that whistle was about a second early. But if Murphy had dropped that punt, that would have been chaos ensuing.
It would have been chaos ensuing, and the Garrigan sideline would have said, we heard a whistle blow, even though they knew it was an errant whistle, and that ends up on you make the call at halftime next week.
Well, speaking of which, we'll have you make the call at halftime this week. That call will not be on it, but I'm sure a good call will be as the handoff goes to Sink. Sink trying to run the right side, and he's upended by Schmidt. Boy, the defensive back coming in, knifing in and taking out Sink's legs on that one.
Yeah, quality tackle by Schmidt there. When they go low, you got to go lower. And Schmidt was just darn near parallel to the ground, a foot off the ground, and submarine Sink on that. Sink's going to come out and get a breather. Lichter will take over the tailback position for a spot. Sink, of course, off to a great start today. Couple scores already.
And Schmidt had 6 tackles last week in that win over Newell Fonda, 86-56. 31 tackles last year for the Wolverines, so he was used to playing on the defensive secondary side of things last year, but this year gets that starting quarterback role after the graduation of Landon Montag, the all-time leading rusher for the Wolverines of over 3,100 yards rushing. Furch boots out towards the left side. He's going to throw it. He's got a man open, and the catch is made by Murphy at the 35. Breaks the tackle to the 30. Still on his feet as he's finally spun down by Micah Fair at the 28-yard line. Furch rolling to the offhand side, but found Murphy wide open for the first down.
Wow, great vision by Furch there, but I guess anyone could see Murphy there. Half the stands here was screaming that Owen Murphy was wide open. Thank goodness Furch got him the ball. Bears will roll Furch out. They have a deep receiver. That was Rosemeyer. They have a middle receiver and a short receiver, and they're hoping that pulls the defense apart. They can't cover all three, and Furch just has to find the open guy. That time it was Murphy.
So the Golden Bears working different levels of the Wolverine defense, and they are marching once again. 3:53 left in the first half. Ball's at the 29-yard line. This time, Furch is underneath center. Marshall's over to the right side in a wingback type position as he was moving at the snap. They were trying to shift him, but Furch snapped it a little bit too soon, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty against Garrigan.
Yeah, there's a couple guys there. Trayton Sink was picking up his right foot. They tried to do the motion thing. That was going to be a fun play because Ethan Marceau is in motion there to do one thing, and that is to block up the middle, and Sink was going to go right behind him. That's their, you can always just run up the middle, but then you can run up the middle with a purpose to score. That's their scoring play right there.
Yeah, it's tough for the defense, too, when the first battering ram, Ethan Marshall comes through the hole and takes out a linebacker, and then you've got the shifty running behind him coming through. Power formation, couple of tight ends, couple running backs for the Golden Bears. Second down and 15. Give goes to Andrew Lichter. Lichter through the middle. Lichter bouncing, falling forward, and getting inside the 30-yard line, back past the original line of scrimmage to the 28.
Oh, Andrew Lichter here. Hard to believe he's already a senior. He was one of those guys that just really built himself into a football player. I don't think anyone watching him as a freshman would have said, I think Andrew Lichter is going to be our best linebacker and maybe even run some tailback as an upperclassman. I don't think anyone was making that prediction. So it's always fun to see those stories.
And it is, and to get carries for Bishop Garrigan, you have to emerge from a crowded running back room. There are so many different options of players who are vying for carries, so Lichter has really forced his way into the rotation with that production. Second down to 9, Furch turns and gives to Sink. Sink picking his way for the middle, and then he gets pushed back. Micah Fair came flying in like a rocket and stopped Sink after about a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, boy, great job by Micah Fair. Sink is very good at moving laterally in the hole, and he was trying to cut left, and Fair came flying in, put the shoulder pads right on his thighs and wrapped his hips, and that'll bring Sink down. But Sink going to come out and get a breather for Lichter again. Sink, so electric in that open field. The Wolverines really got to swarm him.
Wolverines are doing a better job of tackling low here in the second quarter. Furch underneath center, one tight end each side of the line. They fake the pitch to give it to Marceau. Marceau for the middle, and he bursts forward and has the first down inside the Red Power red zone. Brought to you by our Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. Quick hitter to Ethan Marceau after they fakes the pitch.
Oh, I love that play. Furch does such a nice job with his footwork in the backfield. Everyone always thinks, well, quarterbacks, they have to pass it. But that's not what your job is always. You have to get the good footwork. You got to direct that backfield. Furch just makes it look pretty right there with the fake pitch and the handoff up the middle.
First and 10 from the 17-yard line. 1:45 left in the first half. Sink bouncing it out to the left. Sink to the 10-yard line. Flag flies in from behind the play as Wesley Anderson rides him out of bounds. But that was right in the area of the offensive line. So Golden Bears appear to be walking backwards right now.
Yeah, it's tough if you're an offensive lineman in this 8-man game, especially when so many things happen out there in the open field. that you have to know when to release that block. Because if they turn and run after the ball carrier, you got to let go immediately. Otherwise, you're going to get called for that hold or block in the back. And that is a hold called on the Bears. So they're going to march it back. Keaton Helliseth slapping his hands, encouraging his team to do better.
That will back Bishop Garrigan up outside of the Red Power red zone with 1:40 left in the first half. And this is a situation where having a quarterback like Furch is so critical for the Golden Bears. In the past, you're kind of limited to just the run game, but now you've got that multi-dimensional offense. Furch can push the ball down the field sometimes if needed, and he has Joyce out to the right side as the wide receiver. Furch boots towards the right, keeps his eyes down the field. He's looking, he's lobbing, has Rosenmeyer, tiptoes the sideline and made the catch at the 5-yard line. Perfect ball placement by Tate Furch, and he finds his tight end once again.
Wow, Furch somehow got that right over the outstretched hands of Schmidt, who was right in front of Rosenmeyer. The ball just narrowly made it over Schmidt's hands and into the Rosenmeyer breadbasket. Great pattern there run by those boys. Rosenmeyer goes deep on the post. Michael Joyce runs a hard out, drew the linebackers up to him, letting Rosenmeyer streak open. Good play design.
Bishop Garrigan back inside of the Red Power red zone. First down from the 4-yard line. 1:24 left in the first half. Lear is split out to the left side. Marshall's the fullback. Sink is the tailback. Rosenmeyer, the tight end on the right side of the line. Here's Furch. He'll give off to Sink. Sink to the right side. Sink has an opening. Leaps the hat trick tonight, Beanie. And it's 27-0 Bishop Garrigan.
3 scores in the first half. The young Sink will like that. And he's going to make sure he buys Ethan Marceau a burger after the game, because Marceau blocked about 3 guys on that play. Lead blocking right there on that right side. And Sink gets a jump over, because he knows, hey, all I have to do is hurdle these guys and I don't get hit again. You don't do that in the open field.
Train Sink knows that jumping over guys looks better on film. He could have just run that one straight in and scored, but he decided to go for the little hurdle over the pile, and it looks great for the Golden Bears, up 27-0. Here is Brady Galligan for the extra point try. Sink puts the snap down, ball is kicked high in the air, and it arcs its way into the field goal. So 28-0 Bishop Garrigan after the third touch on the game by Trayton Sink. We'll take a quick timeout. Wolverines will try to score before halftime after this on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
We've got more Sports Club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you've got to go to Reeves.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Bishop Garrigan 28, West Bend-Mallard nothing as we approach halftime here on Home Country Radio. But first, West Bend-Mallard trying to score before the half as they have 1:20 left to make something happen. Back deep to receive Austin Schmidt and Cole Fair. It's been a quiet night so far for Cole Fair rushing-wise, as the Golden Bears have really tried to take him out of the game, as they've relied on the quarterback run game instead. It's a squibbing kickoff towards the far side of the field. It's heading towards the boundary, and it's picked up by Fair, and he's banged out of bounds along the sideline. Big collision over there, as that ball might have been heading out anyways, but he picked it up just to be safe.
Well, the Wolverines are desperately in search of some of that momentum we talked about in the Chemnitz keys to the game about an hour ago, because after the initial kickoff return was fantastic for the Wolverines, they almost took it to the house. Their offense has just been stuffed by this Golden Bear defense. They need to get some sort of momentum here going into the locker room at halftime. Minute 19 to do that.
And they do have one timeout left to work with, as they'll have a couple receivers out towards the left side. Schmidt takes a low snap. He'll run towards the left. He's trying to find the edge. Here comes Marshall, though, and he knocks him down. Schwab helping out as well on the tackle. You could say half a tackle for both of those, and that's no gain.
Boy, I'm just continually impressed by these linebackers for Bishop Garrigan. Marceau, Lichter, and Miller are the typical 3. At their ability to make that read in the backfield and have such good instincts on where the ball is going. It's not just about speed and size. These kids have just a nose for football and just great reads that those coaches, I'm sure, have taught them. But their nose for the ball is one of those instincts that's just kind of natural.
And after that first down run went nowhere, the Wolverines are saying, maybe we'll just take it to the half and keep it where it is and try to make some adjustments. 34 seconds left. They take the play clock down to the end. It'll be a handoff up the middle to Cole Fair, who runs his way forward for about 4 yards. And we'll see if Garrigan wants to take a timeout here, maybe force a punt. And they do. Coach Wadley takes a timeout.
Well, you know, Garrigan their linemen are splitting up incredibly wide. They have 4 down linemen, and it looks like Schmidt could just call a quarterback sneak and just go for 3-4 yards every time right through that gap. But Ethan Marceau sitting there at the middle linebacker spot, and that's a challenge with him sitting there. So it's a good job by the Garrigan defensive coaches, Patterson and company, to realize, hey, we've got certain strengths, and that enables us to milk a lot more flexibility out of some of the other guys on our defense.
So 28-0 as we approach halftime, 27 seconds left. Bishop Garrigan does have 1 timeout remaining, so if the Wolverines don't get a first down here, they will have to punt the ball back to Bishop Garrigan, and that's when you worry if you're the Wolverines about punting to Owen Murphy, about maybe having a blocked punt. So a lot could potentially happen here if the Wolverines don't pick up the 6 yards they need for the first down.
Boy, well said, Tyler. Good prediction here. An Owen Murphy punt return before half, that would be exciting, and he has the ability to do that. That guy's got some great speed. Joyce is out there doing basketball motions from his safety spot. I don't know what he's thinking about, but Michael Joyce playing the free safety spot. He's going to go over and cover that receiver.
Couple receivers towards the right side as Schmidt runs towards the right. He's looking to throw. He's going to fire it, and the ball's caught for the first down and more. Across midfield and along the sideline is Layden Grimm. Grimm got lost there in the secondary, wide open, then the Wolverines move the sticks. They're at midfield with 19 seconds left, and now maybe they'll try to get a couple strikes to the end zone.
Well, that's a little shot in the arm for the Wolverine offense. Maybe that Coach Wadley defensive timeout gave them time to drop a new play, something that'll work, because that worked well. Joyce went over there to make the tackle on Grimm. He was blocked well. He fought through the block, and then Grimm and him tussle out of bounds and help each other out. Good sportsmanship shown there by those 2 players.
Well, you're thinking run there for the Garrigan defense, but Wolverine said if they're going to take a timeout anyways, they're throwing it. Running to left is Schmidt. Schmidt unloads this. He almost got sacked, and it's picked off. Joyce has it, and he's wrapped up at the 28-yard line. Tackle is made by Layden Grimm, but Michael Joyce, with the exclamation point on the first half, picks off the Schmidt pass of 12 seconds left.
Well, Garrigan's got 12 seconds. Are they going to take a knee? I'd say typically Marty Wiley absolutely takes a knee here, but boy, you just feel like these kids want to go for it, but they're going to be disappointed when Coach sends in the signal to take the knee.
Well, I've got to say, that was an important tackle by Layden Grimm on that interception, because Joyce caught that ball like he was going to return a punt. And if he breaks Layden Grimm's tackle, he has open field and a lot of room to maneuver and potentially return one.
Some of the most fun I had watching football last season was watching Michael Joyce at the JV level return punts at his leisure to the house.
Well, he had a special teams touchdown against Rockford when he got some action when the Golden Bears had that 60-0 win over the Warriors last year. They're going to throw it and try for something. Furch going to take a shot down the right side for Lear. Jump ball, and it's just over his hands. They tried a one-on-one of Lear at 6'5" against Schmidt at 5'7", and nearly had a big completion.
Lear thought his best shot was to out-jump that guy. He's going to look at the film and think, oh, I should have just kept running. I would have had a better shot at it. But when you're that tall, I would try to out-jump and go up and snag it too. Well, this is not the same Marty Wadley I usually chat with. Normally, he just takes a knee and heads to the locker room. But with 6 seconds left, Marty Wadley putting the ball up for grabs.
Well, how about that trust in Tate Furch? He knows that Furch is not going to put the ball in harm's way. He only had 2 interceptions last year, and he knows that he's going to put the ball in a place where your receiver can catch it and a place where the Wolverine defense cannot catch it. Furch rolling out to the left, 4 seconds left in the half. He'll gun it near the sideline. Ball is caught by Murphy, and he got out of bounds. Out of bounds with 2 seconds left. Murphy across midfield, and now a little bit closer for a potential shot to the end zone.
Boy, this is some of the funnest plays you have if you're a kid. You know, this is playground time. Everybody's going to go deep, try to make something happen, maybe even pull out one of those trick plays as Dan Mice runs in the play. He'll be another receiver. Trayton Sink comes out. There won't be anyone in the backfield here. Joyce is going to run in the final play, so you'll have Joyce, Murphy, and Mice to throw deep to. All pretty tall receivers.
Or does Coach Wadley have a Boise State hook and ladder in his playbook?
Ooh, Ethan Marceau is out wide.
3 receivers out to the right for the Golden Bears. Furch alone on the backfield. Wolverines rush free. One of the rushers gets through. Furch, he's setting up. He's going to gun it towards the end zone. He's got a man down there. Murphy, it's bobbled and incomplete. Almost a touchdown to Murphy, but Micah Fair was able to dislodge the football. Beanie Golden Bears nearly had a touchdown before halftime.
That would have been beautiful. Murphy had it in his mitts, but defense was there and just bounced around, hit the ground. That was a fun play. Murphy and Mice and Joyce all there. I misspoke. It wasn't Marceau. That was Mice. Fun play to end the half. What a great half, Tyler.
28-0 Bishop Garrigan. All Golden Bears in the first half as we head to the halftime break. We'll have your Murphy Realty Management first half recap, as well as Elgato Municipal Utilities. You make the call. It's coming up on the halftime show.
That's it for the first half of play. Now get set for the Edward Jones halftime show featuring Algona Municipal Utilities. You make the call. And the Murphy Realty and Management first half recap. Your Edward Jones representatives are Bruce Keefe, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Let's work together on an investment strategy for long-term results. While you can't control market volatility, you can control your financial future. Start by giving me a call at 515-295-7766. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, together we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Safe and affordable housing. Those are words we like to hear. And Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides just that. With properties in Algona and several surrounding counties, Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides safe and affordable apartments at a time when everyone could really use it. They pride themselves as a local entity that aims to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Give them a call at 515-295-2927 or stop in their office located at 208 East State Street in Algona. This institution is an equal housing opportunity provider.
Halftime from Conway Field in Algona, Iowa. This rivalry matchup between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines has been all Bishop Garrigan so far. 28-0 your score at the half as we begin our Edward Jones halftime show. Brought to you by your Algona Edward Jones representatives, Bruce Keefe, Mackenzie Jorgensen, Jerry Sukup, and Brady Ross. Right now it's your Murphy Realty and Management first half recap as the Golden Bears lead at 28-0. Looking at the scoring so far tonight, Bishop Garrigan got it started on a 13-yard rushing touchdown with 7:30 left in the first quarter. That was their very first drive of the game as Trayton Sink scored that rushing touchdown as the Golden Bears jumped out to an early 6-0 lead. The 2-point conversion on that was no good. After that, Bishop Garrigan's second drive saw Trayton Sink rush for a 65-yard touchdown. 5:44 left in the first quarter. Golden Bears would get the 2-point conversion, making the score 14-0. After that, Ethan Marceau wanted in on the action. Starting off the second quarter, Marceau scored a 12-yard rushing touchdown with 11:19 on the clock. Bishop Garrigan going up 21-0 on that as they scored 3 touchdowns on their first 3 drives. After that, the Wolverines did get a couple of stops on defense, but Bishop Garrigan scored shortly before halftime. Trayton Sink, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the first half and 5th so far in this young season, scored from 4 yards out with 1:20 left in the first half, making it 28-0 Bishop Garrigan. And Golden Bears nearly had another touchdown. West Bend-Mallard threw an interception with about 12 seconds left in the half. Golden Bears got the ball to midfield and had a chance for a Hail Mary at the end zone, and Furch nearly found Owen Murphy for potentially a definitive touchdown right before halftime, but ball was dislodged by West Bend-Mallard's defensive back Micah Fair, and it was fell incomplete. So Golden Bears have to settle for a 28-0 lead at halftime, but they will certainly take that. And right now, we're seeing what the Golden Bears are doing defensively as much as offensively. Cole Fair, the starting running back for West Bend-Mallard, ran for 279 yards on the ground last week, but running the ball up the middle against this Bishop Garrigan defense is no easy task. The likes of Carter Schwab, Keaton Helliseth, Matt Besh, they've really clogged up the middle of that defense so far tonight, so the Wolverines really have gotten nothing up the middle, so they've had to adapt. After the first couple of drives, they put Austin Schmidt in the shotgun a lot more. They've had him run to the left, run to the right a little bit, and try to get some yards to the outside, but the Garrigan defense, they're so disciplined, they're so good at flowing to the football, and they're so good at setting the edge, so really the Wolverines' biggest weapons on offense so far tonight have been unavailable just with how disciplined Bishop Garrigan's defense is. They're not a team that is able to really give up the big play when you talk about the Garrigan defense. They're going to force opponents and teams to have long drives, nickel and dime their way down the field with short gains, and so far the Wolverines just have not been able to sustain drives so far in tonight's ball game. They've had a lot of negative plays, a lot of rushes that have gone for 0 yards, and really, you talk about the guys in the box tonight. Those have been the guys who have made the game for Bishop Garrigan, stopping the rushing attack of West Bend-Mallard quarterback Austin Schmidt. So that's your first half recap. A dominant first half for Bishop Garrigan, leading 28-0 right now. Again, 3 touchdowns by Trayton Sink, 1 by Ethan Marceau, and just an all-around good defensive effort. Michael Joyce with that interception right before halftime as the Wolverines have turned the football over twice in the first half. Well, with that halftime recap up, we will go to Algona Municipal Utilities. You make the call. It's after these messages on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Market declines, unemployment, today's headlines can be scary. Hi, I'm Edward Jones, financial advisor, Mackenzie Jorgensen. I'll work with you to help you understand the impact of short-term events and how to prepare for the long term. We provide the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Don't let headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. Contact me, Mackenzie Jorgensen, at 515-395-4021, along with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Brady Ross. We are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's time for You Make the Call as we test your knowledge of the rules. You Make the Call is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit. Our referee this evening is Tom Claude.
Quarterback A1 has handed off to A2 and is walking away observing the progress of the play. B1 tackles A1 after he hands off. Is this legal contact by B1? You make the call.
Make the call with AMU Telephone Service. AMU local and long-distance telephone provides the call clarity and reliability you expect at an affordable price. Enhance your AMU telephone service with calling features like caller ID and voicemail. When you switch to AMU telephone, you can keep your 295 phone number and you get friendly local customer service. Make the call to AMU to install AMU telephone. Algona Municipal Utilities, community-owned for community benefit.
This would be considered illegal personal contact by B1. It is a foul for illegal personal contact when a player charges into or throws an opponent to the ground after he is obviously out of the play. This is a 15-yard penalty and is administered from the basic spot.
And this has been You Make the Call, brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than preparing for retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Bruce Keith. Together we can give you your long-term retirement strategy the attention it deserves. Stop by our office at 100 North Phillips Street. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sukup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
Halftime from Bishop Garrigan High School. That was Algona Municipal Utilities. You Make the Call. At the half, it's Bishop Garrigan 28, West Bend-Mallard nothing. This halftime report brought to you by your Edward Jones Algona representatives, Bruce Keith, Mackenzie Jorgensen, Jerry Sukup, and Brady Ross. And of course, we've got to thank our video streaming sponsors on the Algona Radio YouTube channel as well, as they've been with us all throughout this fall sports season, and we thank them for that. Iowa State Bank, PMC Advantage Insurance Services, Algona Municipal Utilities, Chemda Auto Center, and Algona Frame and Auto Body. So, rivalry matchup between the Golden Bears and the Wolverines, thus far going to the Golden Bears up 28-0 at the half in this district matchup. Still have a little bit to go until we start the second half, is probably about 10 minutes here. So with that, we're going to step aside here in the video stream. For those of you on the video stream, stay tuned. We'll get back to you when the second half kickoff is coming around. For those of you listening on the radio, we'll get an ABC and Radio Iowa sports update. We'll do that during halftime as well here on KLGZ 98.5 FM, AM 1600. Again, as we said, stick with us here in the video stream. We'll be back when the second half resumes here on 98.5 FM and AM 1600.
Don't let concerns about current events derail your long-term financial strategy. I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Brady Ross. We can work together to understand today's financial landscape and make sure you achieve your goals. While you can't control market volatility, you can control your financial future. Let's connect. Contact me, Brady Ross, at 515-295-7763. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sukup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Just a couple minutes away from the second half of football action here on Home Country Radio KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie at the half. Bishop Garrigan 28, West Bend-Mallard nothing. And what's been Beanie relatively surprising result considering the storied history between these two teams, how close this rivalry has been. But the Golden Bears really just taken this game and had their way with it.
Yeah, for sure. And credit to that Bishop Garrigan defense. They have taken all the momentum out of the Wolverine. The sails are flat now over there on the West Bend-Mallard sidelines because they just don't have any room to breathe against this Bishop Garrigan swarming defense. The linebackers are everywhere. The line is just doing a great job of reading. The coaches have made adjustments, and that's what it's kind of fun to watch this team from week to week to see the adjustments that they make. Boy, they made them quick, because I think if that last week's Garrigan team is playing tonight, it's not 28-0, but boy, this has been a great week of practice for the Bears. Not that I was attending, but very clearly this Garrigan team had a great week of practice, made some crucial adjustments, and they look faster and more ready for this game than even I expected.
Yeah, so 28-0 Bishop Garrigan right now. They scored touchdowns on each of their first 3 drives, and now they're going to get the ball and start the second half because they won the opening coin toss. They deferred to the second half, so if you're the Wolverines, you don't get a stop here. This game can turn into a running clock very quickly, which is something we would not have predicted going to this game, but I think you're just seeing the depth of Bishop Garrigan, the physicality of Garrigan, and really the thing I said at halftime, the discipline of the Garrigan defense to not let West Bend-Mallard bend those runs to the outside.
Yes, and Trayton Sink with 3 scores in this first half. It wasn't that he was just breaking one run and racing 80 yards to the house. Those drives by Bishop Garrigan have been punishing, and Trayton has broken one long run, but it has been just a offensive strategy for Garrigan to wear him down.
So here's the opening kick of the second half. Abner Zauk to kick it away for West Bend-Mallard as he'll kick it from left to right on the radio dial. He approaches the football and he squibs it down the middle of the field. It takes a high bounce. Ball's still loose, and the Golden Bears dive on top of Kyle Borman. You've got to be ready for the squib kick if you go against West Bend-Mallard. They do not like to kick it deep, and that ball bounced for a tantalizing amount of time.
That was a crazy hop. Trayton Sink was standing there like a shortstop, thought he was just going to field the ground ball, and suddenly that ground ball went 15 feet high, clear over his head. Kyle Borman wisely just jumps on it because you know those Wolverines are sprinting right at that ball.
So here's Bishop Garrigan for their opening drive of the second half, led by the junior quarterback Tate Furch. He comes out underneath center, so he'll turn and give to Sink. Sink running through the middle, and he's met by 3 Wolverine defenders, and he's dropped at the 25-yard line, knocked down on the play by Cole Fair.
Well, that's a great reaction by the defense for West Bend. You know, in the first half, West Bend-Mallard did a great job of flowing to the ball. They're very sure tacklers, but Garrigan was really doing a good job blocking. That play, they mixed it up a little bit. That lineman cut right through. He got right behind Schwab, the lead blocker, and broke up that play before it could get anywhere.
Nick Lira runs in for Bishop Garrigan as he will line up to the wide side of the field, out to the right. Golden Bears have second down and 8 from the 20-yard line now as Furch is underneath center. Lands to the fullback Marshall trying to punish his way for the middle. Runs over a defender and he falls forward as once again hanging on for dear life was Layden Grimm as Marshall gains about 3.
Oh, and Grimm is pulling his knee pads back up. Boy, you tackle Marceau, you pay a price. He comes down, but, you know, it looked like he should have got 1 yard. He ended up getting 4.
Yeah, even Marshall was always falling forward as it's now third down, making 3 yards to go from the 25. Furch underneath center has Murphy out wide to the right. 2 backs right behind him in the backfield. Furch gives to Marshall again. He's hit by Akridge and he's knocked down. The Wolverines bring him down after a 1-yard gain as Akridge, who just checked into the defensive line, makes a stop and forces 4th down.
Well, that must have been a heck of a halftime speech by Coach Wirtz for West Bend because his players have come out pumped up. Fair is pumped up. That lineman Akridge, boy, he's a big boy in the middle there. And there's some excitement there in the West Bend defense right now.
How about this? Garrigan looks like they're going to roll the dice. 4th and 2 inside their own territory at the 27-yard line. They are going to dare West Bend-Mallard to stop them for 2 yards.
Well, they've got Marceau back there, and he's going to line up in that I formation, lead blocking.
Power formation for Bishop Garrigan. They give to Trayton Sink. Sink runs to the middle and has the first down. Lowers the shoulder knees across the 35-yard line. What a burst by Trayton Sink that time. We've seen patient running all night, but that time went downhill and exploded forward.
Wow, Bishop Garrigan offensive line. They went heavy there. They got Nate Lear in there. They've got Carter Schwab, Keaton Helliseth. Those are big boys just busted through that line. Easy pickup on that first down.
Golden Bears will go power once again. Couple of tight ends, couple of backs. Furch Gives to Sink. He'll try the right side this time and bends it to the outside. He's across midfield. He's to the 35. Sprints to the 30. He's to the 25-yard line. Stays in bounds somehow. He's to the 15, and he's knocked down finally at the 12-yard line. Trayton Sink of a huge run, a field-flipping run, and then the Golden Bears are inside the Red Power red zone.
Well, number 26 earned about 26 extra yards on that because I thought he was coming down at the 30, and I thought he was out of bounds again, and he just kept the legs moving. He kept cutting back. Just smooth running by Trayton Sink.
How he stayed in bounds along that far sideline, I will have no idea. As the handoff goes to Marceau, right for the middle behind his right guard. Marceau burrows his way inside the 10, and he has a 7-yard pickup on first down.
You know, you know who the good running backs are because you just ask the guys that have to tackle them in practice, and you hear these guys really talking about Trayton Sink in another level as some of their other guys, how difficult he is to bring down. They're like, oh yeah, Trayton's our running back all the way. Like they know how skilled he is, tiptoeing that sideline, breaking tackles.
2nd down and 4 from the 6-yard line. Golden Bears can get a first down without a touchdown. It'll be a gift to Sink. Sink burrows his way for the middle, and he falls forward. He's right at the sticks, maybe a half-yard shy, and it'll be 3rd down and very manageable, making about 1 yard.
Well, another sock in the gut for the Wolverines. Just a minute ago, they thought they had the Bears stopped. It was 4th down and 2 and change. It looked like they might get the ball back. They were pumped up. They were showing some energy out there, and wow, Garrigan just slams them with a body blow.
3rd and 1 from the 3-yard line. Handoff to Sink. Sink picking his way for the middle. He spins around and looks like he did get the first down, but not the touchdown. He's down at the 1-yard line as the Wolverines deny him the goal line, but Sink just keeping his body moving and picking up the first down.
Boy, fair, encouraging his teammates. We got hands clapping. The Wolverines are still trying to stay tough. Wesley Anderson is in there trying to implore his team to stop the Bears here. They know it is urgency. They got to keep the Bears out here.
1st and goal from the 1-yard line. Bishop Garrigan has 4 cracks to try to punch it in. Furch gives to Marceau. Marceau up the middle. No doubt about it. The seas parted and Ethan Marceau scores. 34-0 Bishop Garrigan of 7:53 left in the 3rd quarter.
Here comes the PAT team. They're going to line up in their swinging gate yet again. Last week we saw them go for the bonus where they throw it behind this gate over here on the left. We'll see if they try it again.
Ethan Marceau's been Brady Galligan's been so reliable so far as the kicker for Bishop Garrigan. He has tacked on a couple of extra points so far tonight as they'll bring the swinging gate in. No 2-point attempts this time around, it appears. As Sink will be the holder, Mallard the snapper. Snap is good. Sink puts it down. Line drive kick, and that ball is through the uprights. It's a running clock situation. Bishop Garrigan 35, West Bend-Mallard nothing on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bankin at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Ethan Marceau with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the night, and Bishop Garrigan leading West Bend-Mallard 35-0. And if the Wolverines do not score here, this second half is going to start going quickly as the Golden Bears have gotten up to a running clock situation against their arch rival. Kickoff now for Brady Galligan, who just hit another extra point as the ball is teed up at the 30-yard line. Galligan will kick it towards the left. And check that's not Galligan, that's Scott Borman kicking it this time, and he'll kick it short. Skips to the 10-yard line and picked up by Cole Fair, up the middle to the 15-20, breaks a tackle, runs a man over, and Isaac DeLang again hangs on by the ankles at the 27-yard line. If the kickoff is happening, Beanie, Isaac DeLang is making the tackle.
Isaac DeLang, special teams extraordinaire. I mean, this is 3 consecutive tackles at least he's made on special teams there. But shout out to Scott Borman doing the kicking there. Galligan's been doing the PATs. What a luxury we have for kickers here. We got a few kickers we can sub in. Scott Borman, a senior. Talk about a guy that pays his dues and worked his way. Part of this team. We've got a lot of seniors that have really earned a spot.
And Isaac DeLange's a ball of energy. He's popping up and pumping his fist after every tackle as Fair runs through the middle. He has a hole that time, and he squeezes through to the 33-yard line. That's one of the better runs so far by the Wolverines, who pick up 5 on first down.
Schwab and Miller had to ride him down like a horse. Schwab was on his back, and Miller came in to help. That's some strong running there by the Wolverines. They continue to show some fight coming out of that halftime locker room.
Well, I was going to make the comment before that snap. Isaac DeLange, never out of breath. He's a bundle of energy, and frankly, I'm surprised you're not out of breath coming up here at halftime, because you were down on the field, you were emceeing a big event. They had the hot dog launcher out, and we had a hot dog explosion, folks. The hot dog exploded out of the gun. There was hot dog all over the field. Beanie was eating it off the grass as Fair runs forward. He's trying to drag a man, and Helisef and several other Golden Bears, McGregor as well, stop him after a 1-yard gain.
Wow, Fair didn't drag just one man. He drug 4. He is running hard. Well, Tyler, there is a physics problem going on the Bishop Garrigan Science Department test this semester of force and pressure as applied to that hot dog launcher for sure, because I believe the force and pressure applied to that hot dog I think not only did the hot dog blow apart, but the aluminum foil, I think, is still down there on the field somewhere in shredded bits.
Well, it's somewhere along the Garrigan sideline, because there was hot dog everywhere, and folks, it didn't get a whole lot better. They launched, I think, 2 or 3 hot dogs over the press box. The calibration is just not right on that hot dog launcher. As the flag comes in at the snap, false start on the Wolverines.
You know, those hot dog launchers, they take some tweaking, multiple settings on that thing, but Steyr Ag brings that hot dog launcher. We have a lot of fun with it. We just need more time to figure out that mechanism, but a lot of fun there thanks to the hot dog launching. Now, I was down there on the field when the teams came out of their locker rooms at half, and as little as they look here in 8-man football, and it's just high school football, when you're down there on that field and there's a herd of them coming at you full speed, all pumped up for the second half, I'll tell you, I wanted to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, you don't want to be in front of that banner of the Golden Bears breakthrough when they enter the field in the second half, because there's 50+ strong coming through that banner.
I was just hoping they'd see me.
It's a stampede. Well, it's 3rd down and 7 for the Wolverines from the 29-yard line, and a flag comes in. Wolverines had to hustle to try to get lined up, and I think they called a timeout before the flag. They were going to call a delay of game, so Coach Wirtz will take the first timeout of the second half for the Wolverines, as we'll take a 30-second timeout with Coach Wirtz. It's 35-0 Bishop Garrigan, 5:45 left in the third on KLGZ.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
West Bend-Mallard facing a 3rd down and 7 from the 29-yard line. 5:45 left in the third quarter as the Wolverines hustle up to the line. Schmidt is in the shotgun, running back on his left hip. He'll hand it off to Cole Fair. Fair for the middle. He's met by Mad Miller in the hole, and he's stopped after a 2-yard gain. Wolverines do not pick up the first down as Miller did a nice job filling that time for the Garrigan linebacking crew.
Miller, Lichter making the plays at the linebacker's position. That's those linebackers. They don't give you much room. Initially, that looked like it could have been a big gain for West Bend. Good blocking up front. The running back hit the hole at full speed. Looked like they might punch through, but those Garrigan linebackers can close gaps in a hurry if you don't have someone lead blocking, and if you don't have a Marcel-type blocker on your team. It's going to be tough against the Bears this year because of that solid linebacking crew.
And it's go for time for West Bend-Mallard. 4th and 5 from their own 32-yard line, just trying to get something going offensively. This is a Wolverine team that scored 86 points last week, but's been stifled by the Golden Bears so far. Quarterback draw Schmidt through the middle, and he has the first down. Schmidt to the 39-yard line, and he's tackled by Michael Joyce. But Schmidt found the hole, and he got through to move the sticks.
Joyce doing the job, making sure no big plays break through. But that time, the line for Bishop Garrigan was blocked well by that running back. Using the running back as a blocker seems to be working for West Bend-Mallard right now. That way Schmidt can become their primary ball carrier. That worked for them last week, apparently. Schmidt racking up some yardage.
Yeah, Schmidt averaged nearly 9 yards per carry last week, ran for 3 touchdowns on the ground and 241 yards as it's a direct snap to the running back Fair, and the ball gets stripped out. Ball is stripped out into the pileup, but the Wolverines got back on top of it. They tried to give Cole Fair a running attempt from the shotgun, but it results in a 1-yard loss.
That was Fair just was so excited to get that ball upfield. He took off before he had it secured. Started fumble-rooskied it a little bit. And now it'll be second down and 11. Bears leading 35-0, and that clock is running faster than most clocks during the school day, I'll tell you that much.
Well, Beanie, I want to go back to a point you brought up a couple minutes ago, because you mentioned the fact that the Wolverines want to use that running back as a blocker and have the quarterback run game. And it's really a numbers game. If you think about it, when the quarterback hands off to the running back, he's out of the play, and it's 7 on 8. When you're using that quarterback as the runner, it's really 8 on 8. So it's more of a even numbers situation. There's a deep pass down the sideline. DeLang almost picks it off, but he's out of bounds. DeLang tried to toe tap, but that pass guided him out of bounds, and it's 3rd and 11.
Avoid DeLang. I should have noted DeLang comes in. He's playing a little defensive back linebacker combo here, as well as Wyatt Rosemeyer, the senior, has been playing on that defensive line. He's going to sub out here for Trayton Sink, get another linebacker in there. But one of the challenges as announcing the Bears this year, Tyler, is they can flip guys in and out so often. We have to keep track of the personnel they have out there. But right now it's Schwab, Helliseth, and McGregor are going to be the 3 down linemen. 5 linebackers in this 35 set here.
Yeah, how about Schwab and Helliseth just banging their head against the Wolverine line? Both sides of the ball. Schmidt's going to run it. Schmidt gets drilled in the backfield, but he spun out of it somehow. Stays on his feet, but the second tackle is there. Schmidt is stopped for a loss of about 3 yards.
Oh, Andrew Lichter is the guilty party of being rude and offensive to the West Bend-Mallard there. He took a step back like he was dropping out in coverage, but then he just hit the gap.
So Wolverines are going to hustle here and punt. Golden Bears have to change personnel rapidly, and Falcon gets the punt away. Murphy's back inside the 20-yard line calling for a fair catch, and he makes the grab at the 19. So the Wolverines got a 4th down conversion earlier on that drive, but ultimately some negative plays. That fumble that was recovered by West Bend-Mallard short circuit the drive. The Golden Bears, with 2:40 and ticking, have the ball back here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, after a very great lineup report last week, no injuries, healthy all the way around. Tonight's been healthy all the way around. We did have some cramping last week so far. Only one cramping situation so far as players continue to get used to the demands of a Friday night football game. 2 minutes and counting, 35-0 Bears. As they slowly get their offense set, they're not going to be in any too big of a hurry to run the play. Here comes Furch.
And they almost go a little bit too slowly here as we're down to 5 on the play clock. Furch is underneath center. Wolverines trying to get lined up defensively. Handoff to the right side. Borman trying to find some space, and Abner Zaug brings him down. But Borman able to fight forward for about 7 yards on the 1st down pickup. How about this Golden Bear running game, Beanie? Last year when these two teams matched up, Bishop Garrigan only averaged 2 yards per carry against West Bend-Mallard, but tonight that average has got to be 6, 7, maybe 8 yards, I would guess.
Well, I guess that is a compliment to those graduating seniors of West Bend-Mallard, and I do remember those boys from last year. They were impressive defensive linemen.
Yeah, Jackson Zaug for the Wolverines was that one big loss as sneaking through as Borman, and he got the 1st down. Jackson Zaug, Cortland Schupach both graduated along the defensive line. Zaug last year set the Wolverines single-season record of 21.5 tackles for losses, and that's an all-state player that they lost. And you're kind of noticing that missing presence tonight on the defensive line.
Well, that was a carry just happened by Kyle Borman, picked up the 1st down for the Bears. I know Kyle Borman's got speed because I've seen him run in track. I know he's got agility. I've seen that. But that last play, he showed some power and he showed some intelligence. He really wrapped up that ball. Good coaching, good running.
And this time Borman gets a handoff, and he is met in the backfield by Micah Fair. Buried by Micah Fair and Clint Fair.
Wow, the Fairs bring him down easily because the linemen were all 5 yards downfield. It looked like they expected that quick hitter to march to the end zone, and they were blocking the 2nd level, but the linemen met Borman in the backfield. Now it's a 2nd and 11 to go. Dan Mice bringing in the play. Another senior for the Bears, going to split near side on the left.
At least one more play before the end of the 3rd for the Golden Bears. 23 on the game clock, 11 on the play clock. It's a pitch to the right side to Borman. Lead blockers McGregor. Borman cannot get forward for a whole lot there as he has about 2 yards. Swarm of white jerseys around him.
Good job by that defense for West Bend-Mallard. They set the edge out there. Nate Lear's over there trying to lick a block and create some space, but with 7 Wolverines all in the vicinity, nowhere to go there for Borman.
And that is the end of the 3rd quarter here on Home Country KLGZ. All Bishop Garrigan so far, 35-0 as we head to the final period on Home Country and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Styles Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small. They love them all.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
All bringing you this ball game.
Start of the fourth quarter between West Bend-Mallard and Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears, defending state champions, with a 35-0 lead and a running clock situation. As the situation is 3rd and 8 from the 34-yard line, Bishop Garrigan has the football. And we're going to see a lot of backups come in, it appears. Thad Kolesh split out to the right. Drew Mahler, tight end on the left side of the line. And a new quarterback for Bishop Garrigan, as Tate Furch is done for the evening, as the handoff will go to Borman. Borman trying to pick his way forward, and he's met at the line of scrimmage and gains 1 yard. Charlie McGregor, now the quarterback for Bishop Garrigan.
Yeah, he goes by CJ, but you can call him whatever you want. He's thrilled to be in the game there. He had a great game running the football in the JV level against Britt on Tuesday night, I believe that was. And he's got a real shifty nature to him. He is very slippery. He's hard to bring down. And Garrigan getting him some reps here at QB. You know, you never want to think about things like that happening. But throughout a season, you do have to need some reserves here. As Dan Mice, the senior, runs in the play, they hustle up the line. Nate Lear is now the center.
4th down, 7 yards to go from the 35-yard line. McGregor underneath center. He'll fake the handoff, and he'll boot it out to the left. McGregor eyes down the field, flips it out there, and the ball is dropped incomplete. He tried to target Carter McGregor that time, but ball was a little behind him, and he couldn't haul it in.
Well, brother to brother, that CJ thrown to his older brother Carter, who's been playing on the defensive line for Garrigan. He was looking forward to that chance to play offense.
There's going to be a feud at the dinner table tomorrow night, Beanie.
Oh, there is.
One of them's going to say that throw was behind me. The other one's going to say you should have caught it. There's going to be some arguing in the McGregor household coming up tomorrow.
And both those kids are wrestlers. I don't want to be in that living room because you don't want to have to be the one to repair that living room after they thrash it.
Say good luck to mom and dad in that situation, mediating that. Wolverines take over at the 35-yard line, hand off to Fair, and he busts a big one. He's at the 25-20, 15-10, cuts back to the middle 5, breaks the tackle, and he's in for a touchdown. What a run by Cole Fair, 35 yards to the house, and the Wolverines are on the board.
What a beautiful cutback by Fair. The Bears had angles they were pursuing. They looked like they were going to hit him out of bounds, but Fair planted that outside foot and cut back to the middle of the field, and no one could bring him down. That's a little bit of what that team last week saw, right? Fair ripping off 7 touchdowns, but it makes it look easy there against the Bears. But now 35-6 here as Wolverines, I think, will undoubtedly go for 2.
So West Bend-Mallard will go for 2. Schmidt in the shotgun by himself. Couple guys spread out to the right. Schmidt sprints right. He's looking for the edge. He hits. He's spun around and he can't get there. He was looking to sprint to the edge, but McGregor tracked him down over there, and the 2-point conversion fails. So score will be 35-6. We'll take a quick timeout and come back in 30 seconds on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Lichter's Garage Door Service and new installations. A reputation you can trust. Call 515-295-5988.
Ed Service Station. Service you can trust.
J&J Custom Meats, continuing the traditions in Whittemore.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
West Bend-Mallard on the scoreboard. It's 35-6 here on Home Country KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream as Abner Zaug will kick it away, but the Golden Bears have everyone crowded up between the 40 and 35, expecting a potential onside kick situation.
Now that last score by West Bend-Mallard, great run there by Fair, but that second string, third string combo defense that was in there, boy, they're going to be upset that they didn't do a little better job.
Here's Zaug on the approach. Ball's teed up at the 30-yard line, and he'll kick it down the middle. It's a squibber. High bounce back to the 20-yard line. And how about this is Tate Furch grabbing the ball and taking a seat at the 21-yard line.
You know, I'm glad that Tate Furch just gets that ball and takes a knee, because I don't need to see Tate Furch getting lit up by big West Bend tackles on special teams. You know, we like him playing quarterback. We don't need him to get injured on a special teams play.
That's always a calculation in 8-player football, isn't it? You've got to have a mobile quarterback, but if you're a good team, you've got to keep him healthy for the postseason, too. As McGregor comes out underneath center for the Golden Bears, first down and 10 from the 21. He'll turn and hand it to Borman. Borman trying to squeeze between Fair and Zaug, but they both got him by the jersey, and Borman able to get out to the 25-yard line.
Thad Kolash running some plays here. Nick Toole in there on the line. A lot of a combo of veteran players and young players in for the Bears right now. Drew Muller, the senior, in there at tight end. Nate Lear's on the line playing some left guard.
So Golden Bears got a little bit of a look at some of those guys last week towards the end against St. Edmund, and they'll likely get to play much of the fourth quarter. Here's Dan Mice runs in the play for the Golden Bears. They will take the clock down pretty much to the end here just about every play, as we're down to 10 seconds on the play clock. Drew Muller, who at one point was a quarterback for Garrigan, split out to the right side as a receiver. McGregor's in the shotgun. He'll fake the handoff. He'll keep it himself and he'll run left. Burst of speed across the 30. McGregor outside, breaks the tackles to the 40. Down the sideline, it's the foot race, and Schmidt finally tracks him down to the 20-yard line. But a huge run by C.J. McGregor, flipping the field around and getting to the red power red zone.
Well, you can see why the coaches like C.J. McGregor as his backup quarterback to get experience. Boy, he was out in the open field and breaking tackles, and he's very quick-footed. He's another one. He's a surprise. I'm sure if you could ask Coach Wiley, did he think that would be the obvious backup quarterback in this situation, he would have said no. We got a couple other guys, but CJ has been playing really well.
Benedict Matthews, the lone receiver, out to the left side. Underneath center is C.J. McGregor. He'll turn and he'll keep it. He's trying to roll out to the left. He's using his speed again. He's to the 15-yard line. He lunges forward and reaches towards the first down sticks. And he's not quite there, but he got about 8 or 9 yards. And now we've got a Wolverine down. We've seen a relatively cramp-free game tonight, but one of the Wolverines down along the sideline. That appears to be Eli Hansen. That was a 9-yard pickup by McGregor, who, Beanie's really showing some impressive speed here in these quarterback run plays.
Yeah, and he's fresh as a daisy coming off that bench after watching that whole first half and an extra quarter. So, you know, he doesn't care what quarter is, or that is 35-6 Bears. He's just going out to play football, and that's what they like about, I think, both those McGregor brothers that play for the Bears. You know, they're young and hungry, and they're very aggressive, and they're very athletic, and a couple more wrestlers, you know, that are very agile, good on their feet. So CJ showing some impressive moves there. You know, before the season started, you know, everyone likes to speculate. Everyone knows Tate Furch more than proved himself as a quarterback last year, leading the Bears to a state championship. I thought, well, who else plays quarterback for the Bears? Drew Muller played quarterback for years. And now as a senior, he's taken that role as a tight end, you know, so he's got quarterback experience from freshman, sophomore, JV ball. He could step in at any time. Michael Joyce has played quarterback for a lot of minutes in JV and lower levels. Carter McGregor, I think, maybe even has played. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are capable to do a lot of things on this Bear team, so no one has really signed up for the spot that they're in, you know, unless your name is Carter Schwab or Keaton Helliseth. Or Ethan Marceau, perhaps. The rest of the guys are pretty interchangeable.
Yeah, it's incredible the depth Bishop Garrigan's developed. And, you know, for some of those guys, obviously the dream is to play quarterback, but I think Tate Furch has that position on lockdown for the next couple of years. Give it to the fullback, McGregor, and he is driven back. Don't think he got the first down. He may have gotten close, but Carter McGregor that time picking up half a yard, 3rd inches.
Probably the most interesting thing on this Bear team with their 50 guys is the number of players they have that could play well at any position on the defensive or offensive line. You know, guys like Nick Toole and Wyatt Rosemeyer, and there's just a host of guys, Drew Muller, one of them, that they can just kind of like go anywhere on that line and fill a role.
3rd down and inches from the 11-yard line. Bishop Garrigan in the red power red zone with 8:09 left in the ball game. Hand off to Borman, trying to stretch it to outside, and he's dumped in the backfield. Abner Zaug shedding the block and dropping Borman for a 2-yard loss.
Boy, Borman saw that the hole was plugging up, so he made a read and said, my best chance is to cut it outside, but Zaug really busted through that line well. Garrigan's got a 4th down. They would love to punch in this score. You know, when you don't get that many minutes on that playing field so far this season, you want to make the most of it. Coaches are putting a lot of thought into this play, and here comes Benedict Matthews with the call.
Garrigan has 10 seconds on the play clock as they break the huddle with 7:30 left in the fourth quarter. 4th and 3 from the 13-yard line. Matthews out to the left side. A couple of backs right behind C.J. McGregor under center. Gets to Carter McGregor and trying to push forward as McGregor. Big second effort. He's close to the sticks, but I don't think he got it. Forward progress ends after about 2.5 yards, and he needed 3, but he tried to fight through a wall of defenders that time.
Well, yeah, he put a lick on the West Bend-Mallard defense. He kept his legs going. He never really went down. That's that wrestling agility to stay on his feet, but does not pick up the first down. He wishes he had an extra 50 pounds like Marceau has, the first-string fullback.
Well, Bishop Garrigan turns it over on downs. That's one of the few times they haven't been able to convert 4th downs tonight. That 4th down conversion rate. They haven't had to do a ton, but they've been very successful on 4th down so far this season. And, you know, again, it's that diverse playbook the Golden Bears bring this season. So many different options, Beanie.
Yeah.
We really haven't even seen the wide receivers come into play that much tonight because of how much the running game's been a factor. But, you know, now you can go for it on, you know, even 4th and 8, 4th and 9, 4th and 10 on the plus side of the field just because you can throw the ball with those speed options, the likes of Michael Joyce, Nick Lear.
We love talking about this off the air, Tyler. Like the weapons that Garrigan has on offense, we need about 6 quarters of football every game to let them go through their playbook and work their offense. But especially when they get in running clock situations, you know, you don't give very many offensive plays a game. And so some of those speed players don't get a chance to show that talent out there on that field. I guarantee the defense that's out there right now, this backup defense, has just got a lot of encouragement from the coaches to not let West Bend put another 6 on the board.
35-6 Bishop Garrigan. 7:17 left here as Wolverines go underneath center of another dropped snap. Ball's loose on the ground, and I think the Wolverines covered it up again. They did, but it's a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, the left guard, number 72. Eyes in the side of his helmet. Abner Zaug really did a great job getting on that fumble because the Bears would have had it inside the 10-yard line if he doesn't fall on that botched snap. All right, Matt Besch is in the nose guard. Drew Muller's a right defensive end. Kyle Borman. That's Titan Troyer, a freshman, is playing some linebacker here alongside C.J. McGregor. And Isaac DeLang is in there playing linebacker as well.
Well, the quarterback for West Bend-Mallard has changed. As the sophomore Trent Morey, wearing jersey number 1, is taking the snaps. He's in the shotgun right now. Morey takes it. He reads and he keeps it. Morey runs right side, and he's buried by McGregor. C.J. McGregor just drilled the pads right in the Morey and dropped him for a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, Nick Toole was out there on the left defensive end. Nick Toole stopped that play, set the edge, and McGregor did what he does. He's just like a heat-seeking missile, fills that gap, flies to the ball, and makes the tackle. Good defensive stand there by the Bears. Good communication. Everyone did their jobs. You like to see that. Thad Kolash comes in the game.
Cesar Falcon is the running back for West Bend-Mallard. The quarterback Morey takes the snap. He keeps it himself, trying to find a hole on the left side, but nothing doing as Drew Muller had that plugged up, and it's 4th and 10.
Well, that's a good answer by this defense. They gave up a score on their last time, and this time they're standing tall. It's 4th down. West Bend-Mallard would love to get a few more offensive plays in this game, but they're going to have to punt this one away.
3 and out for the Wolverines as the punting situation. We'll see the Golden Bears send Owen Murphy back. Murphy with his heels at the 39-yard line as Falcon will stay in to punch it away, and some movement along the offensive line, and Garrigan jumped off sides. Won't be enough yards for the first down, though, as it was 4th and 9. It's going to be 4th and 4.
Murphy taking a few more steps back, but these punts are very fun to watch. Special teams have been really fun to watch tonight. This is a great opportunity for the Bears. Nick Lear's in the game, Drew Muller, they're experienced seniors. You got Mice out there on the edge, Kyle Borman with some speed, and of course, Owen Murphy has the ability to run one back.
Falcon with a spiraling punch. Murphy fair catch. Makes the catch at his own 37-yard line with 5:30 left in the fourth quarter. So Golden Bears with that young offense coming back out. McGregor, as you said, the quarterback, and Borman getting a few more carries. You know, we only saw Kyle Borman get 6 carries last week against St. Edmund just because even Marceau was the battering ram in that game. Trayton Sink got a lot of carries in the first half, but you were talking last week, Borman was just really itching for that opportunity, and he's really getting it today. Got a few carries in the first half as well when the game was still in question, and he's kind of the guy they're leaning on here in the second half of the game, turning into a blowout.
Yeah, Borman, he really surprised a lot of people, put a lot of effort into the weight room this summer, and has earned that spot. And a fumble on the play.
Dropped snap, picked up by McGregor, though, and he's got a big play to the outside. He's just at 35-30, full race down the sideline. McGregor has the edge, and he's in for a touchdown. A busted play turning into gold for Bishop Garrigan. 43 yards to the house for McGregor, who picked up the fumbled snap and ran like his hair was on fire to the end zone.
Well, Tyler, when you do the sports report tomorrow, you're not going to say that C.J. McGregor fumbled the snap. You're just going to say that he scored a touchdown, and that was a completely botched play. Mr. Sheepish is going to come over the sidelines and say, well, that worked out. But what was impressive is after he picked up his own fumble, C.J. McGregor had some acceleration that you need in the game of the football. There's guys that are fast on the track, but C.J. McGregor just showed he's got that football fast.
Yeah, what do you say on that play for the coaches? Nice job at hang on to the snap next time,
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Yeah. Good fumble.
Well, Trayton Sink will hold. Scott Borman will try the PAT, and that PAT was blocked. Wesley Anderson coming in. It was another early whistle by the officials, but that play will stand as Wesley Anderson came off the left side and blocked the PAT attempt.
Yeah, Wesley Anderson, he's been a bright spot for the Wolverines tonight as far as energy and encouraging his team. You know, this West Bend-Mallard team, they're not going to come away with a win tonight, but they have a lot of season in front of them. After the loss last year to the Bears, they went on and had a fantastic season after this week, and they still have the potential to put it together a fantastic season here. But yeah, it's looking dire right now with 5 minutes to go. They're down 41-6 to this Bear team, and this local matchup, as fun as it is, it's getting a little lopsided this year.
It has gotten lopsided tonight, and I think for the Wolverines, the big concern is the defense, because last week they didn't play the way they wanted to against New Fonda defensively. 86-56 the final score. Obviously enough to win, but you don't want to have to force your offense to score 86 points. And tonight, the Golden Bears have hung 40 on the Wolverines, 41-6 the score right now. So, I mean, you're not going to face a team as powerful as Bishop Garrigan every single week, but I do think the Wolverines defensively are going to have to do some soul searching here as they head into week 3 of the season. Scott Borman will kick it away as he will kick it end over end. It's a short kickoff, skidding at the 15-yard line, kicks to the far side of the field. Maury's got to chase it down at the 8, and Maury is buried inside the 10-yard line, wrapped up by C.J. McGregor, who's having himself a night.
Wow, he came to play tonight. You know, the coaches always say, always be ready. You never know when your number's going to get called. I don't think C.J. expected to be playing this much tonight, but boy, when his number got called, he answered the bell.
C.J. McGregor's the only one who can stop Isaac DeLange from making a special teams tackle. He had all the previous ones tonight.
Yeah, and now they've got more new guys in here on this lineup. The defense is saying, hey, we need this guy, we need this guy. Who's big number 75 out there? He looks like he's going to be nose guard this series. And we've got
young Carson Kramer, the 6'4", 260-pound freshman.
Oh, watch Carson Kramer here, folks. He is a force.
Maury reads and hands it off. It'll be a running play for West Bend-Mallard, getting a couple of yards towards the left side as the Wolverine carry was by Lex Christensen, the sophomore.
I mean, Carson Kramer's just a freshman, but there's nobody on the Bear team that wants to line up across from him in practice. He is a tornado. He's a Tasmanian devil of a player in there. He's up at nose guard. Amari Thomas in there playing left end. Weston Rosemeyer playing right end. Thad Kolash, Titan Troyer, C.J. McGregor, Isaac DeLange are doing the linebackering, and Benedict Matthews is in there at the safety spot. So a lot of fresh faces getting 3 minutes to play here, up 41-6.
Falcon lines up at the fullback, Christensen the tailback, and some trouble on the snap. Ball is controlled by West Bend-Mallard, but getting pushed backwards as Maury as he pounds the ground, and he's knocked down all the way back at the 1-yard line.
Well, now that West Bend-Mallard has got their reserves in, it looks like we're going to see basically a version of the JV matchup that no doubt these teams will have later this season. A little preview, these guys will all meet up later.
They'll say forward progress was stopped at the 5-yard line, so the push went back to the 1, but Maury's forward progress ended at the 5, and it's now 3rd down, 9 yards to go. Golden Bears checking a couple of items off their to-do list here to start off the season. A little bit of a different feeling game than last year when they had to do a lot of work in the second half to rally against the Wolverines. Tonight, up 41-6. Morey back to throw from his own end zone. Throws left side, and it's incomplete. Benedict Matthews out there in coverage as he had Grady Goddard covered up.
Matthews wisely puts his hands up to show the officials that he did not make contact there. He was real tight in coverage. If he pushed him there, he would have got called for a penalty, but he did a nice job avoiding that contact and staying in good coverage here. Boy, Tyler, that game last year we saw against West Bend-Mallard, that was an awfully fun game. And as fun as that was, I'm sure the Bears are happy to get a win here, up 41-6 in the waning moments. But my question is are the Bears going to be challenged here in the regular season as you look forward? This I know that they had circled on their calendar as was going to be a tough game.
I think that's a completely fair question as the kick is away by Falcon. It'll bounce at the 34-yard line, and it'll come to a stop at the 35-yard line. Troyer stayed away for the Golden Bears. I mean, that is a realistic question, Beanie. This is a West Bend-Mallard team that's had back-to-back 7-3 seasons. They've won a playoff game in back-to-back seasons, and although they graduated 9 seniors from last year, there's no doubt they certainly have some weapons on this team, and they're going to win plenty of games this season and potentially be a playoff team once again themselves. But I mean, if you're Garrigan going into this game, I'm guessing Garrigan believed West Bend-Mallard was the second team in the district behind them, and I mean that is still possible. But,
yeah.
But boy, I really do. That really is a fair question. Like, you don't know what Garrigan's going to get competition-wise going forward.
And you really don't know what you don't know, because 8-man football, there seems to be surprises every year. GTRA is lurking over there. They are always a pretty solid team. They might be putting together something special as Garrigan lines up in the victory formation.
Taking a knee is C.J. McGregor, and I think GTRA kind of is that dark horse just because they have another Huff at quarterback. Of course, they previously had Max Huff, Casey Huff last year, and Huff will continue to be the quarterback this year, so that obviously helps their cause.
Well, Tyler, as the clock ticks away here and a big win for Garrigan, we can talk about some of those fun random things that we have on the Garrigan team here. The McGregor brothers were quite prominent tonight. CJ and Carter McGregor both had big parts in this game. Carter getting the start at nose guard and CJ coming here at backup quarterback. But there's another relation situation going on in the Bear team that is, I think, incredibly interesting. Garrigan has an uncle-nephew situation on the team.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I would be interested to hear more as Vinny is taken.
Titan Troyer, who just was the punt receiver there, his uncle is Benedict Matthews.
Really?
Yeah, so we've got a freshman and a senior. Uncle-nephew situation is fascinating. Both of them are from big families, 8 kids in each family, I've heard. And the incredible when that matches up. That can't happen very often on a team.
Well, folks, you learn something new every night, and that's going to be the last snap Bishop Garrigan has to take. The final 13 seconds will wind away at a dominant rivalry win by the Golden Bears, who've knocked off West Bend-Mallard 3 times in the past 4 seasons. 41-6 your final score as Bishop Garrigan starts off the season 2-0, and the Wolverines take their first loss. So a big statement win by the Golden Bears tonight. We've got our post-game show coming up after these messages on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Thank you to these Sports Club members bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
The Wrenchman Truck and Trailer Repair, full-service repair shop in West Bend.
Tango Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Algona Chiropractic Clinic, it's your future. Let's make it healthy together.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Good Samaritan Society, Algona's senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840.
All bringing you this ball game.
At Sudol Tax and Accounting, they're more than just number crunchers. They're your partners in financial success. Whether you're a small business owner or just need personal tax advice, their experienced team provides accurate, reliable, and personalized services tailored just for you. From tax preparation and bookkeeping to financial planning and consulting, Sudol Tax and Accounting has you covered. Call them today at 515-395-1040 or go online at sudoltax.com.
We've got more Sports Club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water connection from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Gray Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
Final score from Conway Field, Bishop Garrigan 41, West Bend-Mallard 6. Domination from start to finish for the Golden Bears, who scored the first 35 points of the ball game and ended up winning this one by a final count of 41-6. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie as we recap tonight's game, and boy, what a night it was. Golden Bears got the scoring started in the first quarter with Trayton Sink 13-yard rushing touchdown, went up 14-0 on a 65-yard run by Sink, and then before halftime, even Marceau added a 12-yard touchdown run, and Sink scored again from 4 yards out, making the score 28-0. Then in the second half, you got scoring from even Marceau as he had a 1-yard touchdown run. The lone touchdown for the Wolverines came on a 35-yard score by Cole Fair, making it 35-7, but then C.J. McGregor turned a busted play into a touchdown, picking up a drop snap and running it in from 43 yards as the Golden Bears win this one 41-6. Beanie, this is one of those nights where just about everyone had a good game. We were talking and deliberating about who the player of the game will be, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But so many Golden Bears had a good night. All three phases played well. They forced 2 West Bend-Mallard turnovers. They made big plays on special teams. And obviously, offensively, traditional game plan for the Golden Bears. A lot of rushing touchdowns tonight.
You know, both coaches in your interviews that you did throughout the weekend before the game, which, Tyler, I really appreciate, because a lot of times I don't know what I'm going to be seeing when I come to the game, and your interviews really give me a heads up on what to look for. And both coaches said, watch the lines, watch the offensive and defensive lines on both teams. This is a game that was going to be won there, and the Bears really did a fantastic job on the line tonight. Their defensive line and offensive lines both really set the tone early. But, boy, it's like we say, like so many different levels of the Bears are solid there. I'm so impressed with the linebacker play of the Bears so far this year, and not just those 3 starters, Lichter, Marceau, and Madden Miller. Madden Miller had a great game tonight, and that linebacking core is deep, and they're so solid, and it just gives you a lot of faith in this Bear defense that they will be really difficult to score on. West Bend-Mallard puts up their score against some of the reserves on a great run by Fair, but outside of that, they just limited the Wolverine running attack to nothing, and part of that is that linebacking crew. So, boy, I'd love to recognize those linebackers, and because there's something to watch the rest of the year.
And there were signs of trouble early for West Bend-Mallard tonight. Remember, the Wolverines received the opening kickoff, and Austin Schmidt nearly ran it back for a touchdown. Thad Kolash made the saving tackle on that, but Schmidt returned the ball to the 20-yard line, so Wolverines got to start their first drive in plus territory in the red zone on Garrigan's side of the field, and the Garrigan defense forced negative yardage on the Wolverines' first drive. They failed on 4th down. Bishop Garrigan got the ball back. They drive down. They score a touchdown. They score a touchdown on each of their first 3 drives, but the thing that stood out immediately, the Wolverines did not get a whole lot of push up front on their offensive side on that first drive, and Garrigan really pushed the Wolverines off the ball a couple of times. The guards opened up huge running lanes for the likes of Trayton Sink and even Tate Furchel, the quarterback runs, and you knew if the Wolverines can't win up front in this game, you're not going to be able to dislodge Bishop Garrigan.
Yeah, that's always a sign to coaches right off the bat. If their line's getting dominated, they're in trouble. The Garrigan crowd assembling over there off to the west side of the field. The Wolverines are currently huddling up and coming off the field, and those Wolverines have quite a season in front of them. You saw them playing with energy. Even when they were down big, the Wolverines played with a lot of energy. Anderson, Acreage, the Fairs, they weren't going down without a fight. But this Golden Bear team just overwhelmed them tonight with their physicality, their talent, all the cliches we talk about in a team. Just a good, hard-nosed football team in the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. But the Bears, just too much tonight, and I think they're going to be too much for most teams on the schedule as you look at them just continuing to build. The coaching staff meeting with their team on the field right now down after the game, you could just see like their challenge is to keep these guys hungry and polishing that game, because there will be tougher teams down the road, and you have to keep improving every night in and every night out. And there's no such thing as garbage minutes with this team. The Golden Bears are trying to make sure they're as talented at every position as possible. So it's fun to see everyone just working hard all the way through.
Well, and for West Bend-Mallard, too, head coach Tyson Wirtz really has this program in a good spot. Back-to-back 7-win seasons, back-to-back playoff winning seasons, and this is a team that I think is going to be a lot better a few weeks down the line than they are now. We said over the past 2 years, they've graduated a combined 20 seniors, so when you're starting the year, you're still kind of figuring things out, you're finding your identity, and I do think the Wolverines, 3 or 4 weeks from now, they're going to be a better team than they were tonight, but I think the big question is, can they stay healthy this year, obviously, because not a whole lot of depth on this Wolverine team, like we said, only 23 men on the roster, and, you kind of have your established starters on both sides of the ball. So, like I said, I think they're going to be better in a few weeks, but that obviously comes with the caveat if they stay healthy.
Yeah, and they got to stay positive. I mean, they've got 23 young men over there that are out for football. And, we talk about the teams that win and the wins and losses, of course, are what everyone keeps track of. But, you're out for an extracurricular activity called football, and it's a hard one. It's demanding, it's physical, it's brutalizing sometimes, it's painful. And you have to stay positive, even if you're not knocking out the W's every week. You're still playing the game. Just because you're not winning doesn't mean you're not hitting people and getting hit by people for 4 quarters every Friday night. So that's a challenge for teams that aren't picking up the wins. You got to encourage these young men that they are accomplishing something. Like, this is high school, and they're out for this activity, and they are making progress, and you can't just focus all on the wins and losses. But if you're Garrigan, you start to rack up the wins. That's all you can think about, and you start to refuse to lose, and that's what championship programs develop. And I know Coach Marty Wiley is sure hoping that he's developing that in his program, who, let's not forget, didn't start out the 8-man world with raving success.
That's right, Bishop Garrigan, the first couple of years in 8-man, had a couple 3-win seasons before it all came together last year in that 12-1 campaign. Well, folks, we've got one more thing to do on the postgame show, and that's hand out your Erpelding Voigt Player of the Game.
Erpelding Voigt & Company CPAs has a simple philosophy about the way they approach their business. Put people before the numbers. Before they can help you plan for a better financial future, they must have a thorough understanding of where you've been and where you want to go. They listen, then ask the important questions to build long-lasting relationships with their clients. They promise to know you and help you. Erpelding Voigt & Company CPAs. They're more than just taxes.
All right, it's time for your Erpelding and Voigt Player of the Game. Each week we choose a different Golden Bear to win the Player of the Game award. At the end of the season, they'll get a certificate courtesy of Erpelding and Voigt CPAs. Beanie, I'll tell you this is probably the most difficult selection you and I have ever had to make for Player of the Game. We probably threw 6 or 7 names out there as potential candidates, so not an easy one. This is one of those old cliche team wins, as coaches like to say.
Oh, yeah, it was a team win, and I mean, the special teams was great. There were standouts on special team. There were stands out in defense. There was entire positions, like I mentioned, the linebackers that stood out. But, to the glory go the boys that score the touchdowns.
Yes, and that is why Trayton Sink is tonight's Player of the Game. Sink, 3 touchdowns on the ground. I don't have his official rushing total, obviously, but I think he was pretty clearly over 100 yards tonight. And certainly last year he got injured early in the season. I think we would have been giving him a Player of the Game award at some point last year had he stayed healthy. But this year he is healthy and off to a big start to the year. So Trayton Sink is tonight's Player of the Game. But I will say a couple honorable mentions just because we really named a ton of guys. I mean, we mentioned Keaton Helseth. He had a huge game for the Golden Bears. C.J. McGregor coming in garbage time, scoring that touchdown, making a couple of big plays defensively, so he was someone the Golden Bears looked to as well. You mentioned special teams. Isaac DeLange was a guy we talked about. I mean, we gave Ethan Marshall the Player of the Game last week already, so we're not going to give it back-to-back weeks, but he had a nice game as well for the Golden Bears, so you really had a lot of guys who threw their name into the hat this week.
Well, Trayton Sink made the Erpelding Voigt Player of the Game award his to lose after his first touchdown run, which was just probably his most impressive run that I've ever seen him do. Boy, he fought off tacklers, he hit the gap, he moved laterally, he spun, he kept his legs moving. Just a great 35-yard touchdown score where it wasn't just a giant hole where all he had to do was run to the house. Like, he earned that touchdown, and so that earned him, in my mind, Erpelding Voigt Player of the Game status right off the bat. That was a great run, and it set the tone for the whole game and the team. They thought, well, if Trayton can do that, this is going to be a tough one if you're a Wolverine.
So Drayton Sink is your Erpelding and Voigt player of the game, and that's all we've got for you tonight. Don't forget, tune in on KLGA 92.7 FM at 10 o'clock. The Iowa High School Scoreboard Show will get underway at that time. And also on 92.7 FM, Breakfast of the Coaches tomorrow morning, bright and early at 9:05. So we'll have that for you, recapping the football action and the local sports action all throughout the area, coming up again tomorrow morning at 9:05. That's it for tonight, though. For my partner, Beanie Bodie, I'm Tyler Lance signing off. This has been a sports production of Home Country Radio KLGZ and at the Algonah Radio YouTube stream. Your final score, Bishop Garrigan 41 and West Bend-Mallard 6.